First of all, welcome to the January 6, 2026 meeting of the Orland Park Plan Commission. Happy New Year, everybody. And first of all, I see we have a room full of people. First thing I want to do is thank everybody for being here. You don't have to be here. You know, it's always good to see our neighbors here and really appreciate you showing the interest to be here. So thank you again for taking the time to be here. Let me just tell you a little bit about, you know, our the way we proceed with the meeting. Once we go over the cases, what we do is the individual cases, we'll go to our staff first. We'll go to our commission. We'll go to our, we'll go to our petitioners first. Can't forget the petitioner. We'll go to the petitioner. After they're done, we'll go to the staff. After the staff, we invite, you know, any questions from the public. If somebody wants to speak, we invite you to come up to the podium and please adjust that speaker so we can hear you. But you come up to the podium and you will be given, you know, 3 minutes to say what you have to say. I imagine there might be several of you who have the same thoughts or concerns, and if you do, I mean, in the interest of time and how many people are here, we don't need to repeat the same question several times. If it's covered, you know, we will cover it, promise you. So thanks again. So if we will all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We've had an opportunity to review the previous meetings minutes. Well, before that, let me just do a roll call. Commissioner Zatar?
Here. And Commissioners, hold on. Commissioner Zatar, can you identify the reason that you're participating in the meeting remotely tonight?
Yes, sir. Just traveling for business today.
Thank you.
Commissioner Schuessler, I see, is here. Thank you. Commissioner Paul?
Here.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Here.
Commissioner Fenton?
Here.
Commissioner Shalaby?
Here.
And I'm your chairman, Nick Parisi. Thank you. So everybody's had a chance to review the previous meeting's minutes. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve the minutes of the November 18, 2025 Plan Commission meeting.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Commissioner Shalaby?
Aye.
Commissioner Fenton?
Aye.
Commissioner Schuessler?
Aye.
Chairman Parisi, aye. Commissioner Paul?
Aye.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Aye.
And Commissioner Zatar?
Aye.
Thank you. So since we have a large crowd here, I think in the interest of, I think that most of you are probably here for the same petition, I would think, at least a majority of you. So I request, make motion that I am allowed to move the order of the petitions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I move that we open with petition number 2025-0560, Amazon Retail Plan Development.
Second.
Motion made by myself, seconded by Commissioner Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Is the petitioner present? you step up, please? And by the way, anybody who, whether it's a petitioner or the public, when you step up to the podium, this meeting is recorded. And we ask you to step up there, and we will swear you in and ask you for your name and address and whatnot. Please.
Can I swear in just first? Can we preliminarily just swear in anyone who's going to speak on behalf of petitioner?
Yes, anybody who can speak.
Anyone on behalf of petitioner
The petitioner.
who may speak.
Who may speak, right.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've got 5 people here, good. Okay, go ahead.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say, I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Your name and address for the record.
Yes. My name is Katie Jenke Dale, J-A-H-N-K-E Dale, D-A-L-E, from DLA Piper. I'm the attorney for the applicant with a business address of 444 West Lake Street, Chicago, Illinois. So thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, for having us here tonight. Like I said, my name is Katie Jenke Dale, along with my colleague, Peter Nicastro. We represent the applicant, Amazon, in this matter. I'm joined tonight by representatives from Amazon, Kyle Smith and Sarah Van Diver. We also have our consultants here today from BRR and Kimley Horn. I'll start with introductions of Kimley Horn first. They are a civil, traffic, and landscaping team with Brooke Stickler, Rory with the engineering team, Rory Fansler with our traffic engineer, and Tom Safransky, our local engineer of record. We also have BRR architects here. They've been doing the design work of the building, Greg Nakata and Austin Abbott. So a very brief agenda of what we plan to cover in our presentation. First, I will give a summary of the site and the approvals that we're seeking. We'll then do a project overview, talk about the proposed use of the site. We'll then have the design team, the engineers, and the architect come up and talk about the project plans. Rory will talk about the traffic analysis that she completed that was reviewed and vetted by the village staff as well as IDOT. And then we'll wrap up with economic and community benefits and then turn it over for any questions, of course. So this is the site. I'm sure everyone's familiar with it. It's a very prominent site in the village at the southwest corner of 159th and LaGrange. It's approximately 35 acres outlined in red. The current zoning is COR mixed use, and it's in the Regional Planning Core District under the Comprehensive Plan. Except as I cover in the next slide, to the extent we're requesting approvals or deviations, we are otherwise completely consistent with the zoning district designation as well as the comprehensive plan for this property. I will note, warehouse is not an allowed use either in this zoning district or under the comprehensive plan, and no warehouse use is proposed as part of this application. So what are we seeking in this application? These are all listed on and detailed in the staff report, but we are looking for a plat of consolidation as well as a dedication for the future Ravinia that the village is contemplating. Special use permits, I want to point out one of those is for a PUD. That would tie us to the site plan that we're proposing tonight for the retail building. Again, not a warehouse building, but a retail use on the site. And then approval of the site plan, landscape plan, and building elevations that we're going to go through in detail. So I know I've said twice now, maybe 3 times, that this is not a warehouse use. So what are we proposing? This is a new retail use being proposed by Amazon and will likely be one of the first of its kind. Like I said, it is retail. It's going to be a grocery with additional merchandising offerings. We like to explain it as it's the best that Amazon has to offer under Whole Foods, Fresh, and their online offerings. So what does that look like? It's a grocery store, but it's purpose-built for what we're seeing retail customers demand today, to provide for a safer experience for customers, as well as a more pleasant customer experience. So say you walk in to do your grocery shopping. You see a sweater, it's blue. You love the sweater, blue's not your color though. You're looking for red. You could either get on your phone to an app, Or walk over to a kiosk and say, I want this sweater, seeing it in blue, but I want it in red. Finish up your grocery shopping, walk up to the front, check out for the items you've picked up during your grocery shopping experience, and the red sweater's waiting for you. Another example, say I'm there by myself, I want to buy a 50-pound bag of dog food. Not very strong, I don't want to lug around a 50-pound bag of dog food. I can order that, say I'm going to be out front in 20 minutes, I'm going to pull up in my car and have it brought out to my car. Or like we all see happening with other retailers. You order online, you pull up to a retail, we see them in all across the village, all across the Chicagoland area. There's reserved spots where you can pick up online orders. It's run out to your car. It will be the same thing, except here it will be purpose-built, and those pickup spots are going to be specifically designed and thoughtfully laid out in order to enhance customer safety and keep those customers separate from people coming into the store to do their grocery shopping, like I just talked about in my first example. Or another thing that we all see in the grocery store, you're there to do your own shopping and you're seeing third-party delivery shoppers running all over, or even maybe store staff running all over the place, fulfilling orders that, they have a whole pallet that they're pushing around. The idea here is to keep all of those experiences that are inconsistent with the customer's experience in the back of house or separated in a more logical way. Nothing that we're doing here, though, is different than what we all are experiencing in retail stores that exist today. It's just done in a more purpose-built and thoughtful manner. But again, I want to reiterate, maybe for the 5th or 6th time since I started my presentation, that this is a retail concept, a retail store, albeit with perhaps a larger storeroom in the back, which will allow us to enhance the customer experience, do some of that back of house activities that we see leaking out into the front of house and non-purpose-built experiences, segregated away from to enhance the customer experience. The last item on this slide, I'm going to invite Kyle Smith from Amazon to come up and speak about, because like I said, this is really exciting. It's one of the first of its kind, and he's going to talk about why they've chosen Orland Park for this.
Hello, Kyle Smith, SMYTH, and I work with Amazon and the Economic Development and Public Policy team. So I can see there's quite a few people here tonight. You obviously care about your village. So I think that there's some things that I have to say that might resonate with everybody here. So as Katie mentioned, this is a new retail concept that we are proposing here, and we're trying to propose it with the best of all of our abilities in order to do so. Why Orland Park? So I think we can all see that that corner is a very interesting corner in a retail corridor. It's a valuable corner in your village, and we look at it as an intersection of what we would call in the retail industry Main and Main. And to put a retail facility of what we think is going to be high caliber at the corner of Main and Main, we think is valuable for both the village and Amazon itself. Additionally, that large tract of land that Katie mentioned allows us to build that custom-built facility that we may be able to offer a unique experience in the retail world. But what's different from that as well is that that large tract of land is owned and will be owned as soon as the contract is complete by Amazon. That is not traditional for what Amazon does in the retail world, and I think that this shows the level of investment that we are trying to put into Orland Park. Additionally, once you are able to see some of the facility facades that we have for you tonight, I think that that will also show the value and the money and investment that Amazon is trying to put into Orland Park. So I hope that you enjoy the presentation, and thank you.
Good evening. Brooks Stickler with Kimley Hornet Associates, 4201 Winfield Road, Warrenville, Illinois is our address. So this kind of gives us some context of where the location is compared to the surrounding areas. So our project, as we've mentioned, is at the southwest corner of the Grange and 159th. Ravinia Avenue is to the south. That is a proposed extension that will connect to the Costco extension that has already been in place. And as you can see, the Costco facility there, as well to the south, which is where the mass grading is currently, is the Pulte that is under construction currently. Some of the future improvements that are being done in planning right now as well is the roundabout that is proposed at Ravinia for the new Costco gas station that you can see there in context as well. So our project is directly, with one property in between us, between Costco, 159th, LaGrange, and Ravinia. So we have three roads that we're surrounded by. Ravinia Avenue to the south, which is going to be a city road, 159th, and LaGrange, which are IDOT roads. So this gives us a zoomed in portion of our proposed development. So our project, our building is a 225,000 square foot facility. We have around 800 parking spaces. We have 7 truck docks. We have and 2 dumpster enclosure locations that are all enclosed along the back by the truck docks as well. We are proposing a new right-in turn lane off of LaGrange. That is not a decel lane that continues through. That is a strictly dedicated right turn lane off of LaGrange. So to get traffic off of LaGrange, that is turning into the proposed development. Ravinia Road right-of-way, the right-of-way that is needed for Ravinia Road is actually on our property. And so we are working with the village to dedicate that property to the village for that roadway extension. Additionally, the stormwater pond that is located to the back of our property will be utilized to serve the proposed development, Ravinia Road extension, as well as it helps treat and drain the water for the shopping center to the south of us that is all being collected and drained into our proposed pond. One other thing of note is that where the proposed building sits compared to the intersection of LaGrange and 159, that building sits about 10 feet lower than that intersection as the property naturally topo falls from LaGrange Avenue to the west. One thing that we have to comply with in here is that all of the drainage ditches that are on the property currently, the wetlands, and the stormwater criteria all are in compliance with MWRD, as well as the more stringent stormwater criteria that is put forth by the village themselves. So this gives us a blow-up of the landscape proposed. Here you can see that all of this is day one landscaping. So we are meeting the criteria of the city, and we are enhancing some of the buffers along LaGrange and 159 for a very good screening component while the out parcels come at a later date. Additionally, we have a pedestrian-oriented feature at the southwest corner of LaGrange and 159 that we have renderings that we'll be able to show a little bit later within this presentation. And again, I'll reiterate, all of this landscaping that you're seeing is day one, and it is all natural landscape to this area. And with that, I'll turn it over to BRR to show some elevations and renderings.
My name is Greg Nakata.
I'm sorry, we want to pull the mic down a little bit. Great.
My name is Greg Nakata, licensed architect with BRR Architecture in Seattle. So we begin with this vibrant architectural gateway element that frames the entry plaza to our store. Oh, apologize.
Louder.
Okay, so we begin with this vibrant architectural gateway element that frames the plaza at the entrance of the building. Prepare to speak into the microphone. Should I say that again?
It'd probably be helpful if you'd speak into the microphone as well. And drop it a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we begin with this vibrant architectural gateway at the entrance of the building. It frames the entry plaza that you see that's kind of recessed. You can see some scale figures that give a sense of the size of the building. It's consistent with the scale of the other buildings in this community. So pulling back, we see the corner of LaGrange and 159th Street. You can see the building entrance in the background. You also kind of get a sense of the 10-foot elevation difference that was mentioned earlier. A wide retail sign anchors the corner of the pedestrian-oriented feature at the corner. Looking at the south elevation of the building, you can see some of the pattern and textures that we are using to help create articulation on the building. And lastly, this shows covered parking for the customer pickup functions that we described earlier that are separated from the rest of the parking field. Thank you.
Thank you. When we get to the public section, you can ask any questions you may have. Thank you. Please.
Good evening. My name is Rory Fansler Split with Kimley Horn, address of 4201 Winfield Road in Warrenville. And I'm going to speak to the traffic. A traffic impact study has been completed for the proposed development. The traffic study was submitted to the village as well as IDOT. An initial technical review has been completed. Agencies have both generally concurred with the proposed access configuration, which is highlighted on the screen before us tonight. We're still continuing to work through some technical modifications to the traffic study, but general concurrence from both the village and IDOT on the proposed access and proposed off-site improvements. The access, as Brooks mentioned earlier, and I'll try to use a little pointer here, the blue square boxes show a restricted right-in, right-out access driveways, two proposed 259th and then one proposed along LaGrange Road. The circular red dots indicate full access driveways permitting all turn movements. So again, blue squares are restricted right-in, right-out only. Red dots indicate full access, all turning movements permitted. For the east driveway to 159th, as Brooks mentioned, a right turn lane would be provided. It would be a continuous right turn lane through to the intersection at LaGrange Road. In addition, a right turn lane would be provided on LaGrange Road at the proposed access driveway. Sorry, this is a little touchy with the screen. It doesn't seem to want to show up on the screen, so I apologize. But a right turn lane would be provided on LaGrange Road. It is important to note that this is a unique condition proposed on LaGrange Road. If you drive the corridor today, most commercial developments do not provide a right turn lane. This is a safety and traffic flow benefit, so it would create a pocket for all vehicles entering the site to use a dedicated turn lane to access this site, maintaining traffic flow on LaGrange Road. In addition, a right turn lane would be provided on the future extension of Ravinia Road at the east access driveway, again, to create a dedicated space for vehicles to enter the site while maintaining traffic flow on Ravinia. In terms of on-site circulation, this exhibit highlights the proposed parking configuration. Katie mentioned earlier the different types of experiences at the proposed retail store. The dark blue, purple area, which again, I don't know why this won't show up on the screen, must be, there we go, thank you to staff. That area indicates general customer parking for the proposed store. The lighter blue area indicates that customer pickup area that was shown in the architectural rendering. Again, that's creating a unique experience. It's purpose-built. We've seen this in other locations where it's retrofitted using previously general parking spaces and creating signage. This is purpose-built for those customer pickup experience. The yellow area highlighted on the southern portion of the building, that is for delivery pickup. So if you use either an employee of the store or another provider to order online and then receive your goods at home, they would use those spaces on the south portion of the building to pick up the products. Truck access is shown, as Brooks mentioned. There's 7 loading docks provided on the west side of the building. They're highlighted in red here. Thank you. Access for trucks would be provided via Ravinia. It's important to note, again, this is not a warehouse. Truck trips are limited. This is typical of any retail store. I would estimate generally 10 trucks or less per day. All trucks, again, via Ravinia, entrance and exit via Ravinia only, and the truck traffic would be limited to store resupply only. As Katie mentioned, no vans and no warehouse distribution. I'll pass it back to Katie.
Thank you again. For the record, Katie Jenke-Dale. We've worked very closely with staff on this and really see this as an opportunity to partner with Orland Park, and this as the beginning. Just to highlight some of the public infrastructure and amenities, many of which we've covered already, but are flagged on this slide here, with the red circles, starting with the Ravinia Road extension that we will be dedicating the land to the village for as part of the plat of dedication that's in front of you today. I know that's been a long-term plan of the villages, and we're really excited to work with them to bring it to fruition. We also, like Brooke said, will be accommodating all of our stormwater on site, having no negative impacts on surrounding properties when it comes to stormwater. But then we're also providing for additional storage of stormwater for that right-of-way on our site. Rory just went through the traffic improvements that are being proposed. And then I wanted to put a before and after picture, but I think most of you probably drive by this site regularly, and I think we can all agree that this pedestrian-oriented feature that will be at the corner is a huge improvement and will be, a beautiful feature for this really key intersection. And finally, like Kyle said, this is a significant investment by Amazon and a unique one, and that they are buying the site and developing it as opposed to being a tenant on the site. It will create significant jobs, both permanent, we're projecting over 500 permanent jobs, as well as temporary construction jobs. We're projecting, our consultants have told us, it's likely to be over 200. And then as a dormant vacant site currently, it generates minimal property taxes and 0 sales tax. And again, first of its kind. We don't have exact numbers, but obviously they will be more than what's generated today. Wrong way. That concludes our presentation. I just wanted to take the opportunity, like I said, your staff, as you all know, has been incredibly professional and diligent in working with us through this large and important site for the village, and we really appreciate all the time that they've put into reviewing and vetting the application. We're all available for questions, but with that, we'll turn it back over. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for a great presentation, and I'm relieved that you seem to have covered some of the concerns I may have had before I read this, so thank you. Steve, I didn't mean to pass you up.
We're all good. Haley will be presenting the case. So.
Okay, thank you. Haley, staff?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Haley Gorman, and I'm one of the village's associate planners, and I will be presenting the staff presentation for the Amazon Retail Plan Development Project. I would like to begin by requesting that the staff report be accepted into the record as written and as presented during this meeting. The Amazon Retail Plan Development Project includes a number of zoning entitlement requests. The plat of consolidation and plat of dedication will proceed directly to the Board of Trustees and are not necessarily for discussion tonight, but are part of the project as a whole. Therefore, the requests for discussion tonight will include the special use permit for a planned development with a modification from the Land Development Code, a special use permit for a commercial retail establishment over 50,000 square feet, and a special use permit for development within 50 feet of a non-tidal wetland. It also involves the approval of the site plan, landscape plan, and building elevations. The subject property is located at 9600 159th Street, which is the southwest corner of 159th Street and LaGrange Road. It's located within the core mixed-use district, as indicated in red in the image on the slide here. Under the comprehensive plan, the location falls under the regional core district with the land designation of regional mixed use. And here are the requested approvals again, just a more comprehensive list. This is an image of the regional core planning district. This site is designated as a development opportunity in the village, as a majority of it has sat vacant. The southwest portion of the site is labeled as a transition zone to provide appropriate transition to surrounding uses due to the proximity of residential uses to the south. The Ravinia Avenue roadway extension project runs through the southern portion of the site, in which the petitioner will be designating the appropriate public right-of-way to the village to allow for the roadway extension to be completed. Overall, the proposal aligns with the intent of the comprehensive plan, which for the regional core district is to host large, regionally oriented commercial uses that serve residents and draw visitors. This development would establish a similar use in terms of scale and operation as those already existing in the area. Here is a recent aerial image of the subject property and the surrounding area from September 2025. The site is mostly vacant other than the existing PD's 2 restaurant building and parking area located on the corner of 159th Street and LaGrange Road. In addition, these structures would be demolished as part of this project. Here is another aerial view of the current conditions of the site. The total site area is approximately 35 acres. While it is not a heavily wooded area, majority of the trees on site will be removed and either replaced or mitigated with cash in lieu of tree replacement as required by the Land Development Code. Many of the trees on site were identified as non-native trees, whereas the native tree species would be subject to the mitigation requirements by code. The cash in lieu of tree replacement is added to the village's tree preservation and green infrastructure account, which would be used to support village-initiated tree planting and green infrastructure projects. Moving forward, here is the proposed site plan for the development. The Amazon Retail Plan development is a multi-phased project. The initial phase of development would consist of the demolition of all existing structures on site to in turn allow for the construction of the 228,660 square foot retail building and the associated 844 space parking lot, landscaping, and the proposed corner feature. The future phase would then consist of 5 outlots, ranging in area from 5,000 to 13,750 square feet, which would then be subject to future approval once land use types are determined and development details are designed. As mentioned by the petitioner, the site has been mindfully designed for customer access. So there are 2 driveways to 159th Street, 1 on LaGrange Road, and 3 on Ravinia Avenue. This, of course, would be dependent upon the Ravinia Avenue extension project, which our engineering staff will discuss along with general traffic in more detail later in the presentation. The parking areas have also been designed for convenience. I won't go into too much detail because the petitioner have already discussed that. However, I will discuss again the southwest parking area, as this has been designed with larger parking spaces and one-way drive aisles, as this has been intended for the short-term parking for order pickups, and that's just to maintain traffic flow with minimal interruption. And as an additional way to promote accessibility, the site almost doubles the number of accessible parking spaces required by code. 17 spaces are required, and 30 are being provided. Additionally, cyclists and pedestrians have been brought into the plan as sidewalk connections and crosswalks are proposed throughout the site to enhance safety and pedestrian accessibility. The petitioner is proposing 29 bicycle racks, which amounts to 58 bicycle parking spaces, whereas none are required by code for this type of development. As far as impervious surface lot coverage for stormwater management, the proposal is in compliance with the Land Development Code, and this is the percentage of site that is green space versus non-green space. The proposed lot coverage is 63%, whereas the maximum allowed is 75%. The proposed building setbacks are also in compliance for the main retail building. The setbacks for the outlots will be verified during the future phase of development via a separate entitlement review process. The petitioner has been made aware of the minimum setback requirements for the zoning district, and the layouts shown on the site plan appear to meet the minimum requirements. The petitioner is requesting a modification to allow the parking lot to be located within the setback area between the building facade and the street. The Land Development Code requires that the parking areas be located behind buildings and away from the street in certain zoning districts to foster pedestrian-friendly streetscapes that reduce traffic noise and improve walkability. The petitioner is proposing outlot buildings between the parking lot and street along 159th Street and LaGrange Road to offset the modification request. However, they're not proposing any outlots along the Ravinia Avenue extension. Therefore, staff is in support of the modification request, as the petitioner has worked with staff to incorporate additional pedestrian features throughout the site to meet the intent of the requirement to foster the pedestrian-friendly streetscape with their proposed corner feature, interconnected sidewalks, and additional bicycle racks above and beyond code requirements. The preliminary landscape plan has been reviewed by the village's landscaping consultant, Hay & Associates. The requirements are met for parkway, corridor, buffer yard, foundation, and parking lot landscaping. A condition of approval has been added for the petitioner to address an outstanding landscaping comment prior to their appearance in front of the Board of Trustees, which involves relocating 2 trees away from the required maintenance path around the stormwater management area. Once this comment's addressed, the village consultant would then recommend approval of the preliminary landscaping plan. As mentioned previously, tree preservation requirements will be met via cash in lieu of tree planting, which amounts to $100,000. The payment of the cash in lieu has also been added as a staff recommended condition of approval. Stormwater management area landscape, naturalized landscape monitoring and management plan, diversity requirements, and landscape cost estimate will be addressed during final landscape review. Once the proposed outlots are designed, they would also be required to install additional landscaping to follow all applicable code requirements. Overall, the proposed landscaping is suitable for the site and would be a great benefit to the village. And now our engineering staff will discuss stormwater and traffic.
Hello, Laddie Hussein, village engineer. So the site, the existing grading generally grades east to west. So that's from the right of that sheet to the left. So the proposed plan is following that existing drainage pattern, and they're draining everything into the stormwater pond you see on the left through storm sewers in the parking lot. As part of the project, the village is working on the Ravinia Avenue extension that was discussed before, and the petitioners agreed to take the stormwater from our pond, from our Ravinia Avenue extension and handle it in their pond. And as the petitioner said earlier, there's no adverse drainage impact to neighboring properties. The petitioner is also impacting wetlands, so they have to follow proper mitigation procedures per the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. So all the wetland and the stormwater permitting will go through the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District, MWRD, and they'll follow MWRD and village requirements.
Hello, Chairman Parisi and Commissioners, thank you very much. I will be, this is Khurshid Hoda, Director of Engineering. I'll be discussing traffic. So before I go into that, I want to give you a little bit of background that we looked at the traffic for the project, but we also looked at the traffic as a region, how this is impacting us. And the reason for that is we are aware and have been working for actually some years to address traffic issues along LaGrange 159 and in the surrounding areas. So I think this will be a good opportunity for us to mention those so that people can look at that in context of this project. So second half of my presentation, we'll be talking in the regional traffic, which we were going to do anyway. This has no bearing on this project. So let me start with that. Okay, that works here too. So this, this slide, you can see, and Chairman Parisi, I will take a little bit of time to explain, to go through this. I want to make sure that everybody is aware what is this, and I am pointing, Haley, if you can help me out, I'm pointing just on one screen, but Haley can point on the other screens. So this is the project where this development is going, but you can see Costco is to the west, and then we have States of Ravinia Meadows, which is under construction right now and previously approved by the Planning Commission and Board. But then we also have a development site east of LaGrange Road, south of 159 right there. So we're very aware of all of these details. We also know how much traffic travels through 159 and LaGrange Road. So we'll be covering all of those elements in broader detail. Now focusing on this project, which many petitioners, representatives, they have already talked about it. And I will be going basically to cover every entrance, how it is designed and how it will help the project. Couple items that I want to mention, that the traffic study that was conducted by the petitioner, we reviewed it. It was also reviewed by IDOT, and we both have what we call is a generally in concurrence with the study. IDOT actually made some additional comments that are already incorporated into this design, which I will talk a little bit later as I go driveway by driveway. But those are traffic improvements on LaGrange Road and 159. And so I want to make sure that you're aware of those. Before I go, my last comment before I go into the details, we staff believe that the traffic concerns are adequately addressed, either in this project or it will be separately addressed by the village as we move forward in the next few months and years. You will hear quite a bit of detail in that context. So let me talk about the first. I start with on the north side along 159, the very far west driveway that you have. That is exclusively an inbound and outbound, right in, right out only. There will not be any trucks accessing. I'm talking when I refer to trucks, those are 18-wheelers, 60, 65 feet long. That's what I'm referring. Smaller trucks may access anywhere they need to, but the larger trucks will not be accessing this driveway. Again, that driveway, the far west on the 159, right in, right out, with a deceleration as well as an acceleration lane. Both of these will help to maintain traffic flow on 159. Moving to the main entrance to their facility off of 159, which I'm calling it the eastern entrance. Again, it has an inbound and outbound acceleration and deceleration lane, same purpose, right in and right out only, even though there is a median cut at this location, but it will be right in and right out, and I will talk about the median cut a little bit later. Again, no truck access through this driveway. Another thing that I want to mention, we have focused on smaller details as well as larger details. Smaller detail at this location is, as you enter or exit, for about 120 feet or so, there's no other parking aisle coming into it. I think most of us who live here in the village can share this experience at some of the parking lots at retail centers where there is a driveway from a parking aisle right next to the entrance or exit, which causes traffic jam at that location. So I really want to make sure that it is clear that we do not have anything like that. I think there is a 5 to 7 to maybe even more car queues that can be formed before it will be interrupted by parking. Now coming to these are the two existing driveways that are primarily serving PD's 2 restaurant now, but they will be eliminated. There will not be any driveway that are currently there. Those are not part of this project. They are completely removed from the project. Now coming to the LaGrange Road, and petitioners was mentioning that as well. This here is what we call is the northern drive or the middle drive off of LaGrange Road. It is again a right in and right out only, but it has even longer uninterrupted flow into the parking lot before you get interrupted from in any other direction. So it will allow us, the traffic, to drive into the facility and drive a couple hundred feet before they have to make a right or left turn. And same thing as they're coming out. One more thing that you will see on all of these driveways we have required the petitioner to do is provide a wider inbound lane so that the traffic can move in a little bit quicker, not at an unsafe speed, but just get off the main road as quickly as they can. So those will be about 16 feet wide, whereas we typically use 12 feet wide lanes. Now, moving to the extended Ravinia Avenue, this part is not constructed yet. It will be constructed. What you will see here, again, is the same thing, is that the cars will be able to get in without getting interrupted by any traffic from parking. And as well as, this is a full service drive, so there is a separate left turn lane, separate right turn lane, and an inbound lane. So the queues will be forming, and again, queues will be forming inside their property, not on any disruption on Ravinia Avenue. Okay. And I will separately talk a little bit more about Ravinia Avenue extension, about what measures we have used over there. Ravinia Avenue extended the middle drive. This is limited use in my understanding, but it will have an inbound lane and a left inbound lane and outbound lane, as well as a left turn lane that will allow cars to queue up in the middle on Ravinia Avenue. It's 2 lane each way with a center left turn lane, so that the traffic is not interrupted on Ravinia Avenue. Again, no trucks will be accessing through this driveway either. Now we come to their westernmost driveway. This is the driveway that will be designated for their truck access. All the trucks that will be entering and exiting this facility is going through this driveway. They'll come in, go north, and then that's where the loading dock. There's 7 loading dock has been provided at that location. That's where those trucks will go in, and they will actually back into the loading dock, and then they will make a U-turn to get out and come back onto Ravinia Avenue. Truck access is expected to be only during off-peak hours. The rest, again, it also has a left turn lane in that will allow a truck to be in that left turn lane and allow the through traffic on both lanes to be able to travel on Ravinia Avenue. So those were the comments that I had that we specifically focused on, from minor detail to major details related to the development. Now I would like to take a few minutes to talk about the regional traffic improvement that we are trying to make to ease the traffic overall in this area. This picture, what it shows is the boundaries that we are focusing on major corridors, which include LaGrange Road, 159, 94th, Ravinia Avenue, and by extension on the far west is 104th, 167, and 151st. Those are the one we are starting a detailed study to understand the traffic issues and how do we address them in the coming years. It's not a one-day solution. It will be multi-phased, multi-year solution that you will hear. Some of them are happening will happen as of 2026, but the rest will come in the future years. So I think this is what I just said. I just want to make sure that I have covered my points. One of our roads, it has multi-jurisdiction. Other roads are IDOT only. So we have to coordinate with them to make sure that we are on the same page and in compliance with their policies and expenses. Few comments before I go into specific details. Many of the recommendations that we have made have already been conceptually accepted by Cook County DOT as well as IDOT. But I just want to make sure that we will be going through these details as the design will progress. Ravinia Avenue extension will surely serve as a bypass to LaGrange Road. We all know it, many of us use it, but right now it stops at Costco. We will be moving forward with the construction of Ravinia Avenue. As it is planned, it will be this year. We still have some challenges with right-of-way acquisition, and I will talk about that a little bit later. One more element that may be a little bit outside of this area, we're very close to start the widening of 143rd Street. Why 143rd Street is important? It allows the traffic to shift from 159 to 143rd if we have a 5-lane wide all the way through. Right now, people avoid some level because it is congested. It only has 1 lane, but we are very close, and I'll give you a little bit more detail on that as well. So what is happening along 159? Let's look at that. 159, there is a median that is open between Lakeview Plaza and this proposed development. We are working where we may be able to close that median altogether so that there's no cross traffic happening at this location. People who have used it, Lakeview Plaza, it is hard to get in and out, make a left in or a left out of Lakeview Plaza. We will be able to, if everything goes as planned, we will be able to close that median and allow right in and right out at that location, just like this development will have right in and right out of a 159 on the south side. Other thing that you will see, and I experience it pretty much every week, the left turn capacity from eastbound left on 159 to northbound on LaGrange Road does not have enough capacity. We are working with IDOT to extend that dual left turn lane so that we can have more car in the queue so that the through lanes are not blocked. That is another. So these are major improvements that will have significant costs, but at the same time, they will have a very significant improvement. So we will definitely be looking into extending the left turn lane and increasing the capacity. We're working with the Lakeview Plaza owners to see if we can make other internal traffic improvements in their parking lot so that the traffic can be more of a complementary service to LaGrange and 159 rather anything else that may be making it difficult. Other improvements will be implemented as we learn more detail about it. Here's a very important project that we expect we will start this year is the Ravinia Avenue extension. As you all know, just past Costco, Ravinia Avenue is not completed. We will be completing from there to, which is called 161st Street. Our intent is to that this whole roadway extension will continue to be called as Ravinia Avenue. We will not be calling it as 161st, just because Ravinia Avenue is more known. We are proceeding with the eminent domain on the right-of-way that we haven't acquired yet. But the village is proceeding to construct the Ravinia Avenue as much as it can. And then when we have the right-of-way, which is this part here between Costco's property and Amazon's property, this piece, once we will secure that right-of-way, we will come back and make that connection at that time. Whatever time it takes in eminent domain, that's what it will be, the delay. But right now, in 2026 budget, village budget, we have the money available to make this roadway construction completed. As I already said, what will Ravinia Avenue will look like? It will be 5 lanes, 2 lanes each way with a center left turn lane. It will be designed to take the load for multi-axle trucks like WB65 or so. We also have intentionally eliminated median so that we have a center left turn lane that allows a left turn capacity so that we could easily have had a median with landscape and all of that, but we felt the traffic is more important here at this location, so that's why it is not there. Another thing that you will see that it's not very clear, but there are two median cuts at just west of LaGrange Road that goes into that development that has the hotel and the restaurants and few other retail space. I believe it's called Main Street Village West. So the eastern median on Ravinia Avenue will be closed. The western median on Ravinia Avenue will stay as is. So the access to this development on the south side of Ravinia will be maintained as it exists today. But it will give us the queuing capacity for left-turning vehicles exiting this Ravinia Avenue to queue up and not block the median that is currently there. So again, pointing out the smaller details to larger details. Again, continuing on Ravinia Avenue, a new traffic signal will be installed at this location. This is the intersection itself is, in general, is ready to accept a traffic signal, but we still have to get permits from IDOT to be able to install this traffic signal. Here's another very large item that we are incorporating to address regional traffic. At this location, the northbound to westbound Ravinia Avenue, it only has one single left turn lane. We will convert that to a dual left turn lane and also extend it southward to increase the queuing capacity so that the through traffic on LaGrange Road is not interrupted. So that will be happening as soon as we get our design done and IDOT permits are issued to us. We will take care of that. One more element that, again, from the IDOT comment, IDOT is looking into, not now, but look soon, to provide a right turn lane, a separate right turn lane from southbound LaGrange Road to westbound Ravinia Avenue. So again, we're really focusing on how we can make LaGrange Road and 159 intersection less congested than what it is today and how the traffic is projecting into the future. So some major improvements we will see in the next 9 months to several years in the future. We all know about the roundabout at Costco that was previously approved by Planning Commission as well as the board, and they are coming closer to where they will be breaking ground soon. This will definitely be a significant improvement at the entrance to Costco. We all know that. We firmly believe that this roundabout will make a significant improvement in improving the traffic flow on Ravinia Avenue, as well as reducing some congestion on 159. The construction on that project is expected to start in about 4 months, 5 months. Another different regional issue that we're dealing with is 94th and 159. Very close to this project, but in 2025, we finished a conceptual study. Now we are in phase 1. This is truly a multi-jurisdiction intersection. The east and west legs are under IDOT jurisdiction, the south leg is under Cook County jurisdiction, and the north leg is under village jurisdiction. So we're working on how do we make this intersection more safe and more traffic can flow through here. Definitely one of the things that will happen, that the signal will be replaced. That signal will be completely replaced, but we may be also adding right turn lanes, left turn lanes on all 4 approaches. So it will be a very significant project for the village, but like I said, because it's a multi-jurisdiction location, we will be coordinating and working with IDOT and Cook County to achieve those objectives. I mentioned this just a few minutes ago. 143rd is coming close to where we will be breaking ground. As of now, as everything is falling in place, we should be able to break ground on 143rd widening in 2027, early 2027. So the section that will be widened in 2027 is from Southwest Highway to West Avenue. That is the most congested location. That's where Southwest Highway comes in, the railroad crossing is located, Metro Station is located. All of that will be cleaned up and it will be a much better intersection. I've already said it, the primary purpose is or the one of the primary purpose that it will serve, that it will shift some of the traffic to 143rd from 159. So just a quick update on what is happening on the rest. Southwest Highway to West Avenue is in the final stages of its design. Construction funding is in place. Like I said, so next year early, we should be able to break ground. The section between West Avenue and Wolf Road is not funded. It is in final design, but is not funded for construction. I'm also happy to share that IDOT just received a letter from IDOT earlier this Monday that they will be funding a construction for the Wilcoke to Wolf Road. So that portion will be also done, but it probably will be about 3 years before we will see that get done. So the middle part is what we're actively pursuing that to find construction funding for that portion of the project. Here's the last piece of my presentation here. We're doing a regional traffic study, which I mentioned earlier at my start of my presentation. We want to study this entire area from 151st to 167 to 88 to 104 and focus on major traveled corridors. LaGrange, 159, 94, Ravinia, 104. All of those will be looked into, like what is we are facing today, what can be the solution in the coming years, and how do we solve them? It will be a multi-year, multi-million-dollar solution, but we will soon know what those details are. That is the end of my presentation. I'm sure when there are more questions, we'll be able to handle that, but I will give back to the rest of our team to speak on the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, Kirsty, for a very detailed and informative presentation. Much appreciated.
Thank you. Moving on to the building elevations for the development. The commercial retail building is proposed with a height of 42 foot 6 inches measured to the highest point of the roof. The maximum height allowed in the core district is 75 feet or 6 stories, whichever is less, so the height requirement here is met. I'll also note that the building, where it's positioned on the site, is actually at a lower elevation compared to the center of the corner, the intersection of LaGrange Road and 159th Street. So when you're at that intersection, it won't appear as tall. And I'll refer back to the rendering that the petitioner shared so that we can reference that again. Additionally, consistent with other developments of this size in the area, anchored brick, stone, or similar masonry material will be the primary material utilized for the structure in accordance with the village's design standards. The village encourages four-sided architecture, and the proposed design meets this intent by utilizing consistent design elements and building materials on all 4 elevations. The building's color scheme will consist of tans, grays, browns, etc. And green, of course. I won't spend too much time on the renderings as the petitioner already went through these, but I'll reiterate that they've worked with staff to develop the design to meet code requirements as well as the village's strict design standards. I'll also note that any signage shown in the renderings or building elevations would not be approved as part of this entitlement process. It's subject to future review through the permitting process. And in interest of time, I'll quickly click through the renderings and visit the corner feature, again, just so we can see the elevation difference compared to the corner of LaGrange Road and 159th Street. And as far as the findings of fact, when reviewing an application for a special use permit, the decision-making body shall adopt findings of fact. The petitioner has submitted responses to the village's special use standards, which are attached to the case file. Staff finds the petitioner responses satisfactory and recommends approval of the 3 special use permits requested for the project. The standards are split up between 2 slides for reference. So these are the first 4 standards, and these are the last 4 standards. In summary of the petitioner's responses, they discuss that the proposed development is consistent with the comprehensive plan in the zoning district and that it would establish a retail use designed to meet evolving customer needs. The proposed use will not adversely affect the adjacent properties and has been mindfully designed to minimize any potential negative impacts. through architectural design, landscaping, and stormwater runoff mitigation on site in accordance with village requirements. And with that in mind, I will proceed to read the staff recommended action for the record. I apologize, it is very long and the text is a bit small and it's split up over 2 slides. But I will try to read it as clearly as possible. So regarding case number 2025-0560, also known as the Amazon Retail Plan Development, staff recommends to accept and make findings of fact as discussed at this Plan Commission meeting and within the staff report dated December 29, 2025. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approves a special use permit for a plan development with a modification from the Land Development Code, subject to the following conditions. Conditions 1 through 6. And staff further recommends a modification from section 6-210F4 of the Land Development Code to allow a parking lot within the setback area between the building facade and the street. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approves a special use permit for a commercial retail establishment over 50,000 square feet. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approves a special use permit for a development within 50 feet of a non-tidal wetland. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approves a site plan prepared by Kimley Horn and Associates, Incorporated, dated December 11th, 2025, subject to the condition that the development will be in substantial conformance with the preliminary site plan. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approves a landscape plan prepared by Kimley Horn and Associates, Incorporated, dated November 14th, 2025, subject to the following conditions, 1 and 2. And staff recommends the Plan Commission approves the building elevations prepared by BRR Architecture Incorporated, dated November 17th, 2025, subject to the condition that the development will be in substantial conformance with the preliminary building elevations. And here's the recommended motion. This concludes the staff presentation.
Thank you so much, and thank you, staff, for your very detailed presentation. So at this point of the meeting, we now turn to the public. And as I mentioned earlier, if you want to be recognized, you raise your hand, and all comments should be addressed to this commission and not to the engineers or the petitioners. And you would come up to the mic.
I'll also note that I do have 2 public comments to read into the record as well that we received prior to the public hearing.
Please.
All right. The first public comment that we've received is from a resident, Sandy W., who just wanted to let the Plan Commission know that she does not want any new development. Another public comment that we received, I'll read verbatim. Says, "Dear members of the Orland Park Planning Board, I am writing to formally oppose the proposed Amazon retail development at the southwest corner of 159th Street and LaGrange Road based on professional and civic concerns related to conservation, transportation impacts, and long-term land use planning. My views do not necessarily reflect the views of my employer, and I am writing this message as a concerned citizen and nothing more. My interest in this proposal is rooted in a broader focus on responsible growth, transportation systems, and the preservation of community character across northeastern Illinois. Decisions made at major suburban crossroads such as this one have impacts well beyond municipal boundaries, particularly when they affect regional traffic flow, land consumption, and development precedent. The proposed 225,000 plus square foot retail facility with approximately 837 parking spaces and multiple loading docks is poised to introduce a substantial increase in vehicular trips at one of the region's most heavily trafficked intersections. LaGrange Road, US 45, and 159th Street already function as major arterial routes serving regional retail, commuter traffic, and freight movement. Large format retail developments of this type tend to generate high peak hour traffic volumes, delivery truck movements, and circulation conflicts that extend congestion well beyond the immediate site. Even with traffic studies and signal timing adjustments, induced demand often erodes short-term mitigations, leaving surrounding corridors with persistent congestion, safety concerns, and increased emissions. From a transportation planning perspective, concentrating a regional retail destination at this location reinforces automobile dependency, increases vehicle miles traveled, and works against broader goals of congestion reduction, safety, and efficient corridor management. This site has remained undeveloped for an extended period, and the intensity and scale of this proposal raises serious conservation concerns. Large single-tenant retail structures maximize impervious surface area, contribute to stormwater runoff, increase heat island effects, and permanently foreclose more flexible or lower-impact land uses. Orland Park already has an abundance of retail space, but once built, reforesting and recreating open space takes centuries, if not millennia. Once constructed, buildings of this scale are difficult to repurpose if market conditions change, raising the risk of future vacancy and blight. Across the region, communities are grappling with oversized retail footprints that no longer align with evolving retail patterns, leaving municipalities with costly redevelopment challenges. Does Orland Park want to be the next Matson or Richton Park? Thoughtful, conservation-minded planning prioritizes adaptable development, reduced land consumption, and designs that respect long-term environmental and infrastructure limits rather than short-term commercial demand. Approving a development of this magnitude sets an important precedent for future land use decisions along the LaGrange Road corridor. A single corporate tenant occupying 250,000 square feet risks shifting the area toward auto-oriented, high-impact retail at the expense of a smaller-scale, diversified, and locally responsive development. From a planning standpoint, this raises legitimate questions about consistency with the village's comprehensive planning goals, corridor character, and long-term economic resilience. Large corporate retail developments often promise tax revenue and jobs, but those benefits must be weighed against infrastructure strain, traffic externalities, and the displacement of smaller businesses that circulate economic value more locally. There is significant literature out there which shows that these projects often leave the municipality in a worse financial state over time. For these reasons, I respectfully urge the Planning Board to reject or substantially reconsider the proposed Amazon retail development in its current form. I encourage the board to pursue development strategies that reduce traffic generation and prioritize corridor safety, minimize environmental and land consumption impacts, promote adaptable, mixed, or lower intensity uses, align with long-term conservation and transportation planning principles rather than short-term commercial gain. Thank you for considering this perspective and for your role in shaping development decisions that will influence not only Orland Park, but the wider region for decades to come. Respectfully submitted, Andrew Grigg.
Thank you. Thought it was a very well-written and articulate letter, and I'm happy to say that I feel that with the presentations we've given so far, we've addressed most of the concerns of this letter. At this point, I invite the public. Sir, step up here. Are we going by the list of signings? I can.
Yeah, anyone can also speak, though. Any other people are welcome to speak as well.
Yeah, anybody who wants to speak. Sure, why not? Okay. Sir.
Can you raise your right hand, please, sir? Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Name and address, sir.
My name is Patrick Bradlaugh, and I lived at 15401 Pembridge Road. And I travel west. First, I completely support the Amazon project, and I think everyone's done a great job in all the planning and thinking, and the road planning. I think it'll be great for the city. My only concern is we struggle so much with construction in this city for so many years. I go west frequently, and now we're talking about tearing up the big west roads, both of them at the same time, 143rd and 159th. And there's a big school on 159th with a lot of buses. Could you address how you're going to now deal with all the traffic that is going to be bottlenecked on 143rd and 159th for a long period of time, as well as a major school? That's it.
Okay. And which school was that, sir? And which school?
There's a school on 159th.
Century.
Century
Junior High, Meadow Ridge.
Okay. Yeah, west of the development. Okay. Well, thank you. We'll note people's questions and we'll try to answer them individually as we go along, okay? But again, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, now going to this list, The first name I have on here is John Nugent. You here, John? Hey, welcome, John.
Hey, Nick, how are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
My name is John, oh, yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
My name is John Nugent. I live at 15060 81st Court on the east side of the village. My first item that I'd like to have, and I know we have to stay in our lane, I'd either like it to be a condition or a strong suggestion to the board, but we need to have, outside of this situation, the 11 to 14 condo associations and townhome associations deserve and are entitled to a hearing. They're entitled to an informational session like we did for 170-101 Wolf with the repo lot, and we did with pickleball. This is a little bit more significant than pickleball, and it's similar but much more different. I have listed all of them. I'll be happy to submit it tomorrow in an email, but in the Northwest Quadrant, it's the 4 associations, maybe 5, depending on phases, that are part of Centennial Village. The Southeast Quadrant, which is the 3 boardwalks, the 3 Georgetowns, Charlton Highlands, and possibly Shenandoah Meadows. And the Southwest Quadrant, which is the 97th Ave corridor, Hummingbird Hill, Charlton Place, Saratoga Lakes, Misty Ridge, and potentially Tierra Glens. The 2 senior facilities, Alden, which is always maxed on parking, and Brookdale, both hotels, and all 3 retail areas. I think the retail and commercial should be separate of the 11 to 14 associations. As engineering went over here today, yes, we can only stay in our lane today and talk about the impact of Amazon and whether or not it meets our standards. But by approving Amazon, we are now completing a 30-year boulevard plan that the village has had. And we've decided now that the boulevard plan that we've talked about for 30 years, which has been changed many times, which 30 years ago was going to be 163rd to Ravinia. That didn't happen with the townhouses. But all of these people are not within 250 feet. I talked to 2 of them. They have no idea that there's a hearing tonight that they should know about. All of these condo associations, for their immediate daily and their life, are going to be impacted forever once we complete all 4 major projects. So I think they're entitled to that, and I think that should be separate. It should be an informational hearing, just like we pulled up next door for 170-101. Okay, I know a lot of people have a lot of points, so I'm not going to duplicate all of them because I got to be first. What I want to talk about in the traffic study, their extensive traffic study talks about where the traffic will be in 2028 and looked at where traffic is today. By the way, they did call it a 230,667 square foot facility. Multiple things with that. One, in that study, it pointed out 2 of the 5 outlots are dependent upon the parking that Amazon is going to use. That parking in the variance today requires an 8% reduction in what we allow. We should consider Costco as our standard. And in the study, they looked at peak hours. I was at Costco yesterday at 2 o'clock. That is not part of the definition of peak hours. I waited about 7 seconds, which is not long, but there was backup Monday at 2 o'clock to go into Costco. It was packed. People were also coming back out to go to their second southern entrance. People need to realize the Costco gas station is not because Costco, also a major national corporation, has money to burn. Costco's moving the gas station because they don't have enough parking. So they're spending millions to move over here, and they want their customers to use the gas station. The cross roundabout is for their benefit. We're all going to be there. In the study, when it talked about the peak hours and the trucks, and engineering today, there's a lot of talk about using 161st, not using 161st. We're talking 2 types of trucks. Semis, everyday little Amazon trucks that we're used to. Where are the semi-trucks going to go on Ravinia 161st or the truck only right in, right out outlet? I know the questions are not all going to be answered right now. In the west access, east access to LaGrange Road, when you're turning left, all that traffic there is ignoring the fact that we've had retail between 159th and 165th for 30 years. We should not design 161st for Amazon. And even in his presentation, it was one of my questions, Lakeview Plaza, if you can think of it, what used to be Joann's, what is Buffalo Wild Wings. We're talking about affecting their access to benefit Amazon. So right now, I can be in Homer Glen, approach LaGrange Road, and I can turn left into Buffalo Wild Wings. We're talking about saying, you know what, Lakeview, no more. If I'm gonna be at Costco, the traffic impact study said that about 15% of the Costco people by 2028 are gonna say, you know what, I'm not going to 159th, I wanna go to LaGrange Road, okay? They're not considering the fact that we're putting trucks, everybody at Amazon, the 5 outlots, and the mall there. And where the traffic goes from there. But if we're gonna do that, we now realize that we can cross our 161st over to LaGrange. It's not fair for everybody from Atomo to Lazy Boy to have been outstanding businesses for our community for 30 years. But we're gonna build an intersection that IDOT said, we don't know if we can give you with all the plans that were approved east of LaGrange Road. Yeah, we don't know if we can give you another light, but we will do it for Amazon. So if we're gonna do it for Amazon, both sides need to benefit. That's a good thing. The negative is now traffic crosses. The traffic study did not look at that issue at all. I know our engineers talked about it. 97th Avenue literally dead ends where 161st is gonna be. Sounds like maybe they're thinking they'll keep it a dead end, which is where Saratoga Park is. If we build 161st, there's no consideration what happens to Saratoga Park or 97th Avenue. Also with that mall over there, which has not always succeeded, it sounds like maybe today the way to make it work for Amazon is we're gonna cut off that mall from having access to 161st. They don't have great access now. You know, where Rock Bottom just failed, we've had many failed restaurants there. They're entitled that the village is gonna spend $15 million or whatever the cost is to build 161st. They've been paying taxes and supporting our community for 30 years. They're entitled to the same access to the road. I know I'm taking longer than I'm supposed to, but
Yes.
I'll be real quick. One of the things I want to remind.
3 minutes.
Okay,
Excuse me?
It's not fair to other people. She's limited to 3 minutes.
you're fine, but I'm
Thank
trying to help all of us here. Anyway, so the special use for the big box, we need to keep in mind there's a reason why we have special uses for big boxes. As was said earlier, if they fail, we're stuck with a big box. And I know people are going to bring up, but we should build into it, limit how much warehouse space and limit how many docks.
Okay, thank you, John. We'll have our engineer address that. There was a lot said there. And I think I'll have our engineer address it now, because it may answer some questions other folks may have. Pardon? Yeah, you know, no, that's, yeah, everybody who has a question that hasn't already been asked, that wants to speak, you know, whatever it takes, we'll be here, okay? I just want to make sure that, you know, I can't write down every single point, good points that were made, but I know our engineering department just went through a very exhaustive explanation, and I'd prefer, Kirsha, that you address that now rather than at the end.
Sure. Thank you, Chairman Parisi. The few items that I've noted. So construction on 159 and 143rd. 159 will not be under construction. There's no roadway project for 159. Yes, there are driveways and all of those, but those are short duration, maybe a day or to a week, something like that. But as such, right now, we do not have a planned roadway construction that we are referring to. The roadway construction, if what is being referred here, if the median closure between Lakeview Plaza and Amazon's development, is that what is referred, and the extension of dual left turn lane, yes, they will take time, but those are not months and years. This is nothing like that. So that's, I wanted to give that a clarification. Number two, 143rd, yes, that will be under construction. That is, in fact, you will see, and it is already public knowledge, 143rd, east of LaGrange, will be under construction in the next couple months. We're replacing that bridge and at John Humphrey Drive and 143rd. So that is coming up in the next few months. And then next year, we'll be working on the widening of 143rd west of Southwest Highway to West Avenue. But that's, I mean, I can't change that. I mean, those are major developments. Now, the question about school on 159, I'm not sure how this will impact, anything that we are doing will impact that school. That school is at 108 and 159. That's further west from our project. I do not see any construction issues related to that. Yes, there may be some issues as if the buses are approaching or parents are approaching 159 and LaGrange Road, they may see some congestion, but otherwise that school should not be impacted. Moving forward to the next comment, Chairman Parisi, having a public hearing with homeowners, that's a policy question. I don't have any say into it. The parking for outlots, there will be a separate parking that will be added for each of those outlots. They're not going to take the existing, the proposed parking for Amazon development. Yes, there is shared parking concept that we will be using when their demand is low. The restaurants or any other business that will come in, they will be able to use that parking. I couldn't clearly understood what the issue was with the truck route, but the truck is primarily going to enter and exit from LaGrange Road into the development and back out that way. They're not going to be going towards the roundabout. They'll be going back to LaGrange Road and heading towards I-80. That's the plan. Now, we have said it many times. This is not a distribution center where you'll see blue trucks coming in and out. If there is a UPS truck or FedEx trucks and those things like that, they have the right to be on the road. I cannot control, the village cannot control that. I think there is a region. However, if they cause other issues, we definitely have means and methods to go into and address those. I want to very clearly say this. The Ravinia Avenue and the Ravinia Avenue / 161st at LaGrange Road traffic signal is designed for Ravinia Avenue. It has nothing to do with this development. We were going to fill this site with something else, no matter what. It's a time issue, not a specific development.
And we've discussed it over the past several months as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that extension is required for Meadows, the Pulte's home. That extension is required for Costco. And most importantly, the village has been working on this project for over 10 years. We wanted to build that roadway 10 years ago. It was a need at that time. We just couldn't complete the right-of-way acquisition. Now we have found a way to get through that, and that's what it will be. So I just wanted to give that clarification as well. LaGrange Road and 159, in traffic terminology, is already operating at level of service F. F as in Frank. What we're trying to do is bring it up back into either a level of service D or better, E or D or better, so that that intersection can operate. Again, that intersection is not failing because this development is coming. Even if you go out today, we all have experienced it, that intersection is operating at a very congested level. Last comment on this one, which I heard from the second gentleman, is the Amazon's has primarily 3 access points, which was mentioned by the petitioner, 3 roadways. So you have a primary entrance on 159, you have another primary entrance on LaGrange Road, and then you have another primary entrance on Ravinia Avenue. So traffic is distributed. We have very consciously made that effort that it is filled from different directions. Not all traffic is coming in from one direction. So that was the intent. But again, it is a development. It is going to bring more traffic. But we believe, like I've said before, we have incorporated or integrated several solutions that it will address the issues that we are talking about.
Thank you, Kirsha. Thank you very much for addressing that. Okay, I'll get back to our public, and I'll go along with the sign-in list. And I would tell you all, I am, going forward, we will enforce the 3-minute rule. I apologize for not having done so. The next name I have on here is it Brad McGinnis? Sir?
Could I add just one more comment, please?
Please.
The village has conducted a separate traffic study for Ravinia Avenue only. Nothing to do with this development or just to understand Ravinia Avenue and how it will be incorporated by extending the existing roadway into LaGrange Road. It was a separate study outside of this development. And that study says the same thing that we're saying now, that it needs to be a 2-lane each way with a center left turn lane and serving primarily the bypass to LaGrange Road. That's it.
Thank you. Sir?
Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say, I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Your address, sir?
Yeah, Brad McGinnis, 16836 Cardinal Drive, Orland Park. My concerns really are similar to many that have been echoed tonight, so I won't go into furthers on traffic, but I will add one caveat. It's interesting we're here today to talk about Amazon when it has reshaped Orland Park's footprint in terms of retail. It is astounding that they're building a retail environment and are now going to be in either further direct competition with all our partners that we've had over the course of a number of years. It's also a privilege that they considered Orland Park first as well, so taking that into account. I did want to highlight that LaGrange Road is a 6-lane arterial roadway with curb cuts. It has 16 traffic lights from 131st Street to 179th Street. 159th Street is only a 2-lane highway with a few curb cuts. In itself is heavily signalized with 16 traffic lights between Will Cook Road and Harlem Avenue. So now we're adding additional light at 161st, so 17 along LaGrange Road. I'm concerned about Ravinia as well. I don't know whether or not trucks are going to be able to navigate a turnabout if they are coming off of 355 or if they're coming down from I-80 and coming down LaGrange Road from the south. So again, be mindful of that. I want to talk to you guys about aesthetics. You know, we're in a beautiful building. Our library is award-winning. This building's award-winning. Those were paid for by tax dollars, and they're award-winning style and buildings. Our retail environment we pushed when Pet Boys was put in. I remember that. I think you were as well. George Sinars and Shirley Fazio and Keith Richardson, I believe they were all on the Plan Commission at the time. And they basically insisted that the architectural development of that particular important corner is reflective of what we were anticipating to build further in Orland Park into the west. From an aesthetic standpoint, this project must meet a very high standard. A development of this magnitude should enhance the visual character of the community and not detract from it. Design, quality, architectural detail, landscaping, and buffers should not be negotiable expectations. I also note that the plans that they show with all the green space will actually be gobbled up by those outlots.
By what?
Will be gobbled up by the outlots that have yet to be developed. So looking at holistically, a lot of the green space that was on 159th Street as well as LaGrange Road will obviously have parking spaces at some point. So we're including more parking within that development to accommodate these other buildings, with the exception of the two that I think Mr. Nugent had mentioned. So I'm just really here just to talk specifically around, and I know the revenue projections are significant, obviously, but also take into consideration, this is a 233,000 square foot building. Costco is 150,000, Target is 150,000. So it's behemoth. Plus, you've got an additional potential of 70,000 square foot of retail, office, or restaurants that lie along 159th Street or LaGrange Road. So just understand the implications that this development has. I'm excited for it, but I don't know how we can accommodate that level of traffic without 159th Street being widened, and that clearly is never in the state's budget.
Thank you so much, sir. Please. Please. Thank you. Next, I have, is it Tablis is the last name? Corinne Tablis. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to mess up your name. Please, Corinne, come on up.
Thank you very
Hi,
much.
can you raise your right hand, please?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
Thank you.
And your address?
My address is 13249 La Hinch Drive, Orland Park. Also, I'd like to add that we do own a property across the street that's commercial property. I want to piggyback off the gentleman that just spoke. It is the Pep Boys property, and I want to say we've owned that property for almost 50 years. We had to jump through hoops in order to get something approved that the board wanted at the time years ago, and I think that we did a good job, and I just want to make sure that anybody that comes in has to do the same thing. I'd like to make sure as a property owner and a resident that I'm not adversely affected. We had to go through eminent domain a few years ago with IDOT, and they had to close off with the median, as you know, and that impacted also our parking lot. Am I going to be impacted again with eminent domain in case this project is larger than anticipated and traffic is worse? Eminent domain is not an equitable process. So that's one of the worries I have as not only a resident, but also as a property owner, a commercial property owner. The petitioner answered my first question, that they are indeed the petitioner. But my question is this sale pending? Because we know that the current owner just bought it a little while ago, and I think that was somebody else. So is this sale on Amazon pending for that property? Or did Amazon purchase this property?
Please.
Easiest answer is to ask them, but we have already asked that. They're under contract, and they will buy this property before they all break ground.
So it's pending approval on this?
Yes, that's the right answer.
All right.
It is under contract, though.
It is under contract.
Yes.
And again, I'm all for improvements
Sure.
in tax revenue,
Sure.
as long as it's done the right way.
Yes.
And that it doesn't just benefit one business and then it really negatively impacts my business or anybody else's business here or their residential homes.
I can assure you that this Plan Commission and this Board of Trustees feels exactly the same way.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming forward. Patrick Bradlaugh? Well, thank you, Patrick. Well, I didn't get too far off course then, huh? Okay. Then I have Carol McGurley. Carol? We'll get you.
Thank you. Good evening. You have to be sworn in. Thanks. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
Thank you.
Carol McGurry, 11130 Dover Court, lived here for 17 years. You know what, I was disappointed not to see any renderings of the inside. Everything we've talked about is the external, but not the inside, because I did a little research, because I'm one of the skeptics. Kathy Fenton called me out several times, bullied me online even, because I was questioning, what is this thing? What is this thing? And so like an Amazon Fresh is like 45K square feet. A Go is like 1,000 square feet. I think some of your other products that were new concepts were shuttered, but then you have grocery, I think is 10K. So if you add all that up, say it's 60,000 square feet, let's add another 30,000 of all this new cool stuff. Let's go to 100,000. We got 100,000 of cool new internal stuff. That means that this large storage area is 100,000 square feet. So is that a warehouse?
No.
It's not a warehouse, but it's a 100,000 square foot storage area. So I'm just making a statement that
And
that's the,
and the petitioner mentioned at the onset that you won't have the experience, you'll have a good experience as shoppers. You won't be obstructed by workers from Amazon filling orders or anything. That's done in a different area.
but you'll have the traffic. You have 7 docks. You'll have the, I mean, I'm not going to go into the traffic. I think that's been.
No, but I mean, one of the main concerns was the interior traffic and the experience of the shopper.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I was more worried about the traffic in terms of being a pseudo, it's not a warehouse, it's not a distribution center. It sounds like a hybrid of some sort. So exactly what it is, again, I don't know. But there's been no renderings of the inside. That would have been really cool to present, to be able to show all these new cool, I mean, you had beautiful things done here. Staff did a great job, but no renderings of anything that this place is going to look like inside. And as people have said, how is my life going to be better? Other than the tax revenue, how will my life be better that Amazon is across the street from the Walmart Supercenter? This is like a Walmart Supercenter, in my opinion, on the corner of 159th and LaGrange. So how many years will this take? How many years will all of this? We've got across from 115, or across from LaGrange, you got that development. You've got Costco doing its gas station. You've got all these new streets being built or rebuilt and turnabouts. How long did it take to do LaGrange Road? How long was that? Long time. So how long will this be? How long? I mean, I want to live here a long time. I don't want this to be 3 to 5 years.
Talking about the Amazon?
I'm talking about the whole thing, because
Because
nothing changes other than the roundabout if Amazon's not there.
Well, this is one of the last large commercial properties of its size.
I know, something's got to go there. Totally agree.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like there's 10 of them around the village, because there aren't.
No, but there could be others. Again, I'm just wondering if Amazon is the right thing culturally. We've heard other people talk about culturally, aesthetically, for that corner. Put it down by the I-80 corridor. Put something else there. I know I might be Pollyanna. Maybe there aren't any other vendors who want to, go on that prime real estate corner. Of course there would be. My other question is, how many cars will be in and out? Like, we've talked about trucks, but we haven't talked about how many cars. So you have the cars at the gas station, you've got the cars at Costco. You got the cars coming into Amazon, you've got the cars over at the corner with Target and all that there. You've got the new development with apartments. You've got the traffic nightmare at 94th Avenue. How many cars are going to be here? So again, these are just questions that haven't. And the whole reason I'm asking this is, this should not be rushed.
But the traffic study.
This should not be rushed.
Traffic study by both IDOT and ourselves have already taken that into consideration.
I appreciate that.
Along with Amazon's own traffic. It has. It already has.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I don't.
appreciate you being here. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I would just like to say, please don't rush this. I know you all just got this on Friday to review as a planning commission, and the board's going to approve it in 2 weeks. What's the rush? What is the rush to move this forward so quickly? Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Is this Ben Foreman? I'm sorry. It's either my eyesight or your handwriting.
No, you're good,
Probably
sir.
my eyesight.
Can you raise your right hand,
Yes, I
please?
can.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
So my name is Ben Fythen. I live at 8530 Walnut Avenue. As a Amazon shareholder, I am a big supporter of this type of investment in our community. However, I do have a couple concerns that I would like to raise. Being that Whole Foods is a part of the Amazon portfolio of companies, has there been any commitment conveyed to yourselves as to the continuation of operations of Whole Foods, or will that be rolled into this type of facility? In addition, with a facility of this size, just from my own personal background, having a Master's of Science and MBA, I look at this in a way that I question the ability for small and middle market and other enterprise businesses to stay competitive in Orland Park, which could be a detractor of existing, tax revenue and sales revenue. So I would ask, yourselves as the planning commission, has that been taken into account? In addition, I know many people have also brought to the attention of yourselves numerous times that there is vacant commercial real estate in the village, and that, in a trailing 12-month period, we saw the, northernmost retail plaza lose 3 tenants, or about to lose, GameStop, along with Joann Fabrics and Rocklear. Do we have an understanding of the time it takes for the village to turn over those facilities and bring in new tenants? And do we expect to see a elongation of the time it takes for us to turn over those into new commercial tenants that would in turn generate new tax revenue? Those are all my comments. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please don't applaud, please, please. It's nice that you do, but please don't. Okay, next we have Jim Savage. Did I get it right, Jim?
Yes.
Well, 1 for 7.
Hi, good evening. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Jim Savage. I live at 14029 Green Valley Drive in Orland Park. I've been a single-family homeowner in the village for about 42 years. My major concern with Amazon, and full disclosure for Amazon friends, my wife and I have millions of dollars in mutual funds, and most of them are the Magnificent Seven, which is Amazon. So, Amazon is a great company, but one of the concerns I have is destroying the retail base of America. Primarily, that's what Orland Park has been since I've lived here. We used to have an Eagle grocery store. We used to have an Omni grocery store. We had a Dominic's grocery store and smaller, I'll call them grocery stores, mom and pop stores. They all are gone. Having a store like this, Amazon, if it's a grocery store, that's what they say it is, it's going to cannibalize all these other businesses in Orland Park. And that's something you guys really need to think about. And do I hate Amazon? No. Obviously, I have lots of money in Amazon. It's a great business model. It'll be around a long time, even though the chairman says of Amazon that probably something else will come along, and it probably will, and it'll be gone like Sears, but I'll be dead and gone by then. But anyway, so my major concern is cannibalization of other retail in Orland Park. So Amazon has already destroyed a lot of retail here and many other places. So it's something to think about.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. I mean, right, that's been it's kind of over many, many years, that's just been the fact of life. I mean, one could say that, Walgreens and CVS have wiped out the private pharmacies, and a lot of mom and pop stores have been, they'd say, wiped out by larger retail stores, and so on and so forth. At the end of the day, we're a community of 60,000 people, and our goal here, in your village government and everything, is to enhance the situation for our residents, and we think this will do that. You might recall, it's been quite a while now, but Orland Park used to be a little sleepy bedroom community, and then many years ago, along came somebody with the idea of building a mall, and hence Orland Park was born. Increased the population, and by the way, increased the number of jobs available, improved the roads. We had more money, for our roads and parks and everything to improve community life here in Orland Park, which is very important. I think we do a really good job at that with our parks, our roadways, our streets. It all has to be taken into account, all, with the express purpose of making Orland Park a place people want to go to, not where they want to leave. And obviously, over the past several years, we've had a lot of people wanted to come to Orland Park, and I think that's a good thing, personally. But let's move on. Thanks again, Jim. And let's go on to Forgive me again, is it Jeffrey Leinert? Did I get it right? It's 2 in a row. Yes, it was.
Sure was. Right on the whiteboard all day.
Okay.
Sir.
Judge Judy, here we go.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, can you guys hear me okay? Okay.
Just
Hi.
fine.
Okay, good. Gotta use the teacher voice. Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Leonard. I've lived in Orland Park my entire life, almost 26 years. I've come out this evening to express my concern, my opposition to the Amazon development proposal at 159th in LaGrange. Our town is rapidly growing at a speed where our schools and our own police department are having trouble keeping up. Our schools are hitting maximum capacity. My own street, which is on Region Drive 15342, didn't say it earlier, sorry. Our street was used as the cut-through street for the mall, especially during the riots in 2020. We can't even get a speed meter on our street because according to our police department, we don't have enough funds. When I spoke with the police department about street racing, I was told at one point there were less than 10 officers on patrol in the evening time. That's less than 10 officers for almost 60,000 people. Keep that in mind. We've seen increases in shoplifting with the mall, altercations at businesses, with people who don't even live in our community. And there's people that have expressed wanting to move out of Orland this year. Tinley Park has an Amazon store. We don't need another one that's right here. We already have a Pete's Market in Tinley. Now we have one in Orland. I understand you're proposing street traffic concerns and proposals. Widening streets, they only bring in more people. They spread the traffic out even more. Yes, Costco brings in a ton of traffic. I get gas from there. I'm guilty. But they want to put a double lane roundabout. Have any of you seen how people drive around here, especially in roundabouts? I say a prayer when I go into one because I almost get hit. It's not safe, especially double lanes. That's not a good approach. In 2018, I was driving down LaGrange. I was sandwiched by a semi-truck. They told me I should have been killed. That's because the semi-truck was trying to get through the stoplight because of traffic in the morning time. That was 2018. It's even worse now, even when we're proposing these amendments. In 2022, how many of you remember when there was a high-speed chase that came through Orland? And at 159th in LaGrange, that suspect hit 7 innocent cars. 7. The village was against a towing impound business on Wolf Road last year. The fear was that it would bring in unwanted shenanigans. Having a development like this, it's going to bring in shenanigans like no other. Our police department's going to be responding to this development every other minute, and that's a fact. We want people to move into the community, but we have problems here that need to be addressed first. What are we doing to attract our small family businesses? We've lost staples to our town, such as Kismet, Cupid Candies, Orland Bowl, and Randy's Meat Market. These are just some of the businesses that made our home a home. We do not need to keep just attracting these corporate organizations. We need family businesses as well, and we need to maintain our open lands for our environment. Have the residents of Orland been asked what they would like to see happen? Have our police department, have they had any say in this? Because we know there's going to be increases in calls for that development. What about our schools with the new housing that you guys are proposing? We're going to need a new school building at some point. These are things that we have to take into consideration before we are moving forward. You have to listen to the stakeholders here. Are we going to get our farmers market back at some point? I hope. But I urge you not to do anything until you listen to us and you hear what we have to say, the residents, before moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. By the way, it'll be very difficult to get a speed bump on your road because trouble with the speed bumps is they have a tendency to damage cars and then they'll come back and sue the village. Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. I'm just explaining to you. Okay. Finally, not finally, but next on the list, just one more, is Cindy Wendt. You pass? Oh, good. Means we covered your question, I hope. Now, there's been a young lady in the back that's been wanting to speak so badly, but it wasn't too bad, so please come on up. Thank you. Thank you for coming and for being so patient. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Your name and address, please?
I am Christine Lang.
Ma'am, can you be sworn in? Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Please?
I have stood before this body before at other meetings and spoken, and those minutes are available if anybody wants to see them.
Yes.
However, my roots in Orland Park, my family's roots go back like 150 years. And I am I'm all for development and growth and creating, better tax revenues. My father first developed the Orland corner at 143rd, where Orland State Bank and Randy's Market and all
Liquor
of
store.
those places were, yeah. He also developed the lake that Centennial Park is on. He made that lake. It's a spring-fed, man-made lake. But I'm speaking here about the children. And I don't have any little kids anymore, but I'm hearing about Ravinia becoming 5 lanes, and I'm hearing about, all this traffic, and that concerns me because the kids in our community and our foot traffic and people walking their dogs and people riding bicycles, they need to have safe passage. And what I have proposed here before in front of this group, and I don't know if all the same people are here, but a lot of the faces look familiar, is that with Centennial Park, we have on the north side of the lake, we have boardwalks around the lake, some away from the lake, some close to the lake, and pathways. And when they extended the bicycle and the path, they couldn't come down 159th Street. And I've mentioned this before, and I know I'm supposed to talk to Parks and Rec, but I want to say it again because I haven't been before them yet, before Parks and Rec. But I think it's really important, especially since the foot traffic through the park is being pushed out onto cross 159th Street at 104th Avenue. And so the people that are going around the lake and walking around the park, they're led out onto 159th to cross 159th at the light at 104th Avenue. And then they are walking east towards the Grange Road up 159th Street, where they can cross back over to the park side at Ravinia. And my proposal was and remains, and it's a good one, that the creek that runs along 159th Street that's on the south side of 159th, I'm sorry, the north side of 159th Street, away from the road, because IDOT did a beautiful wall there, and there's a beautiful barrier wall that's already set in place, and all the village has to do is run a boardwalk up the creek. It can be 12 feet wide, it can be as wide as the creek itself, so that you could have foot traffic and people with their dogs and kids on bikes, and nobody has to cross 159th Street again to do the wrap around the park. And I think that's really important. And by the way, I live at 10300 West 159th Street, and I lived through the expansion of 159th Street, and my property was the headquarters for IDOT when they did that expansion.
I recall your parents, and I think it was at the time we were discussing the Costco gas station, if I'm not mistaken.
I was discussing what?
When we were discussing Costco repositioning the plants, the
Right.
gas station, I think.
Right, and
Yes,
and back before then as well, but we
Yeah.
were talking about the different parks and what
Sure,
was going to happen
sure.
at the different parks. And, but I think that this, the boardwalk, even if Amazon said, hey, we want to protect the kids, we'll put that boardwalk in, maybe they'll even do it, throw it in, like part of their deal. I think that would be wonderful.
Sure. You reference Ravinia Drive being 5 lanes and everything. One of the purposes of roads like Ravinia is having an alternate to LaGrange so that
Correct.
Everybody's not trying to make up time and
On
speeding
LaGrange
through the
Road.
side streets. And that's for public safety, actually.
I understand.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you so much.
Well, okay, and Amazon, if you're listening, put the boardwalk in for the kids.
Okay, you heard her. Thank you so much. Is there anybody who didn't sign in who? Okay. I didn't have to zang you, I'm sorry. Who? Oh, please, come on up, please.
Hi, good evening.
Hi,
Do
my
you-
name, oh, sorry.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so,
Yeah.
please say I do.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lucas Hawley, resident here of Tinley Park. I just wanted to speak in favor of the development, but just purely not so much on what it would add to the community, but so much on how it would add to the tax base of the community. I know that there's been a lot of comments and concerns over the size of the location. I do want to let people know that the Walmart out there in Orland Hills that people keep on bringing up is only 203,000 square feet. This development being 228 is only about 25,000 square feet more, and that's about the size of like the plaza that the Blissful Banana's at. So relatively, it's not that big of a difference. But more importantly, I just want to bring up and state that this current site right now only brings in to tax base around $48,000 a year. The Walmart, which right now the assessor is assessed at 23.8 million, brings in 1.3 million a year. If this site being bigger and being Amazon and bringing a much larger development, it has the possibility to bring anywhere from 1.8 to $3.6 million in taxes right now at the current rate. That's good for the entire village. That means it lowers all of our tax bills around. And you know, the idea and issue that people have that for some reason that Amazon being there is going to dissuade local business and stuff, I would say just look back at that Walmart. That Walmart may have been built and then rebuilt into a bigger location, but that still attracted other business around there. And even when the Binnies had left there, they were still able to attract.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. Oh, was my
Excuse
time?
me?
Oh.
No, that wasn't your,
Oh.
that wasn't your full 3 minutes. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. No, but that was just my point, was just that in the first place that the businesses there are still overly successful. And the one thing I also do really want to mention is that economic stagnation is death. You know, that having no development and no cranes in the crowd in the city, in the city of Chicago right now is not good for them. It's not good for anyone. Right now, Orland Park has about an overall equalized tax rate, about like 24%. That's fantastic. Parts of Tinley Park at 33%. If you got parts in the far eastern and southern suburbs that are anywhere from 70 to 90%. Having development's a good thing. This helps us out. I know there are concerns that everyone wants to work through as far as traffic and other kind of concerns like that, but that's stuff that can be worked through at the end of the day, and I think it should be built. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think we've, yes, young lady, you want to step up?
Hi. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that any testimony you present tonight will be the truth and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you.
My name is Terry Ebert.
Pull the
and
microphone up,
I
please.
actually- Terry Ebert, A-B-E-R-T, and I live at 8836 West 167th Street. I live right off of 171st Street. So as this young man just stated, Walmart, when it came into the village of Orland Hills, it was a huge impact on the village of Orland Hills. I happened to be a trustee at the time and didn't agree with it because it impacted the people that lived adjacent to that area because of the truck traffic that goes directly behind those folks' backyards, okay? The noise, the traffic, it's intolerable, okay? So a lot of the people here that spoke today don't live south of 159th Street. That's where the impact is. You guys, along with our the person that's in charge of our little town of Orland Hills, put that big subdivision, those apartment complexes, the townhouses and houses at 171st and LaGrange, which impacts all of us, including Silver Cross Hospital, which impacts all of us at that end as well. And now we want to add Amazon. How many grocery stores do we need between Tinley Park and Orland Park? We are saturated with them. How many places can you shop? We have a Walmart, we have Target, we have Amazon in Tinley Park. Love Amazon, but we know that when they come in, they will go ahead and they will take over more, and then it'll just get bigger and bigger. I oppose this just because of the area itself. It literally takes me from 171st to 143rd when I go to work. It takes me 27 minutes to get from 171st to 143rd. 16 lights, he said. So it doesn't impact everybody that lives north of 159th. It impacts all of us that live south of it.
Thank you. I will mention that the type of business being used, it adheres to our the zoning, the usage for the property, and our land development code. And you know, if you have a property and it's complying with the zoning and everything, and you know, I can't say there's well, you know, you want to build a grocery store, well, 2 blocks away is Home Goods or something. You know, that's not the purview of this committee here. But yeah, I got you. Okay. Well, I'll turn to our commissioners now. Thank you, everybody, so much for your attention, your patience, and your very thoughtful questions. And hopefully, excuse me, Kirsche?
It's up to you, Chairman Parisi. There were some comments were made that may need clarification. Some questions were asked. It's totally up to you.
Well, we can do that now before I go to my commissioners.
Okay. So thank you very much. So comment was made about how the trucks will access this facility.
Right.
The trucks will have, the truck drivers will know it is, how will they access the facility, like which freeway they should take to get to the facility. I mean, if a truck is coming southbound on LaGrange Road, they'll be able to easily make a right turn into, if that's what, but we expect majority of the truck traffic will be coming from I-80. There would not be any impact on any business or anybody, especially Pep Boys was mentioned, related to eminent domain. Eminent domain is only for that small portion of right-of-way that we do not have to complete Ravinia Avenue. That is the only portion. In general, construction schedule for the Ravinia Avenue is 2026. For the roundabout is 2026. For Amazon, based on what they have told us, it's anywhere from 12 to 18 months. So sometime next year they'll be done if they go through approval process.
Yeah, and I believe you addressed, there was a question about direct, you know, the construction blocking traffic and everything, and I think you addressed that adequately.
I did. So 159 will not be impacted
Correct.
in that regard. This is important for me to make sure that it is clear. The roundabout is built for Ravinia Avenue and Costco. We were working on the roundabout project last year, actually year before as well. It took us 2 years to get through that. So it was nothing to do with any development at LaGrange and 159.
There was a question about, I'll just join you here as we go along these questions. There was a question about all these various condo associations should have been contacted and everything. The fact of the matter is, this particular project has been very public. It's been on the news and everything, and we had 30 days. We had 30 days posted on the property. We are required to give. Excuse me, it's my turn. Do we properly post on the property within 30 days?
The requirement is 15 to 30 days.
15 to 30
prior
days.
to the public
We've done
hearing
that.
date. And that was met, correct?
That was met. And if there was any residential within 300 feet, we've done that.
Correct.
So, I mean, we've met our requirements. I'm just addressing that one particular question. And I think you were just talking about, will trucks be able to navigate Ravinia?
Trucks will be able to navigate Ravinia. It is designed, properly designed to accept truck traffic, not just in terms of its layout, but also the pavement will be able to accept truck loading. And that's just a couple more comments, Chairman Parisi. The roundabout that will be built at Costco is a single lane roundabout, just like what we have outside here at the Village Hall. It's not a dual lane roundabout. Roundabouts, by data, not opinion, data is much safer than any other intersection, because roundabouts, if there is an accident, it's a side swipe versus a T-bone or a rear end accident that you will see. And to this lady, we are working on a project where we will be completing the loop around the lake in the Centennial Park on the south side of the lake. Hopefully we'll be approaching her with some discussions. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Just going down the list of questions, I know another one talked about hurting other businesses. Well, arguably, the reason it hurts other businesses because all of us in this room went to those new businesses and quit going to the other one because the new one satisfied their needs better. Let me see. Anything else we didn't cover? Kirsty, you just covered Christine's point. That's about it. I'll go to our commissioners now. I'll start with Commissioner Schuessler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a couple of, I had several pages of questions, but most of them have been answered by the presentation of Amazon, which was excellent, and our staff, which was excellent. First question is for Amazon. What's the breakdown between the retail front end and the storage area in the back end, square footage wise?
Hey, that was my
approximate.
That's our question. That was our question.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Maybe there's a lot of questions. Okay.
Perfect. Well,
good.
I hit the nail on the head. So there you go.
Birds with
There you
one
have it.
stone. So it's still a little bit in flux, but we are a little bit bigger in that back of house space. It's a little bit over 50% of the square footage.
Okay.
But the whole point of that is that all those operational considerations. Oh, sorry, I flipped that. But whereas a typical retail, maybe it would be 20%, 30%, we're a little over 50% of the retail front of house, and it's a little bit larger in the back of house. Again, that's not intended to be any
it's
sort of
approximate,
warehouse.
I see.
It's just because of those operational, taking things that you'll see other retailers kind of taking over some front of house to turn it into that fulfillment. We're trying to purpose build that and bake that, out of the customer experience.
Okay. There's been a lot of concern about loading docks, 7 loading docks. Why 7? And are they all the depressed kind where a semi can back into them, or are some of them not depressed, or will they all accommodate a semi?
Yep. I'm going to ask Brooks to come up and talk about depressed versus otherwise. As far as the number, we've worked with staff, reviewed other retailers, and we're right within kind of what we're seeing in the market as far as loading needs. We really want to make sure we're accommodating that and right-sizing it on
So
site
the
to
market is
avoid any
dictating
backup.
7 is what you're saying?
Correct, yeah. It's right in line with what we're seeing from other retailers, and then Brooks will talk about
Katie,
design.
could you repeat your last name for me? I didn't quite get it.
It's okay, there are 2 of them. It's Janke Dale, Jahnke.
Forget it.
Dale, yeah.
To help answer the question, so these are actually at grade, so they will not be truck wells to where you're going down into a ramping dock.
All of them will be at grade?
The 7 for the actual trucks will be at grade.
Okay.
The ones for the compactor will be at grade, but blocked off, and there will be one that is just for access into it. So like, a forklift can drive up into the building. That's it. But the 7 trucks are specifically flat at grade, no depressed wells. And one of the reasons for the 7 is the intent is not to leave trailers, anything of that nature. They will come and they will leave. So it will not be places where that drop trailers and are just gone. These are come in, unload, and go back.
Okay, I think somebody mentioned how many, Ms. Janke Dale, did I get it right? Okay, in a 24-hour period, was it 10? You expect 10 deliveries in a 24-hour period?
Less than 10.
Less than 10, that would be the max, okay. All right. Okay, on the traffic impact study, Krishit, a couple of questions for you. I think it's great that you've worked with Amazon to require the right-in, right-out, the 3 right-in, right-outs on the 2 on 159th and the 1 on LaGrange to have de-acceleration and acceleration lanes. I think that's really critical to keeping the traffic on 159th and LaGrange moving while people are trying to get into this site. You mentioned Ravinia at LaGrange. What is the lane split there? Are there going to be double left turn lanes there to go north on LaGrange?
Yes.
And is then there going to be a dedicated right turn lane also? And is there going to be one to go straight?
So if you're going northbound on LaGrange and making a left, going westbound on Ravinia, you'll have two lanes, dual lanes to make that. But then those two lanes will continue. There will be a separate right turn lane, a decel lane, that will allow access into the first drive into Amazon.
Okay, now going the other way, coming out of the site.
Coming out, we will have two lanes.
Two left? Double left?
No, that will be single left. Right there, if you're coming eastbound on Ravinia and then northbound on LaGrange, that will be a single left.
Single left?
Yes.
Okay, and then is there a dedicated right? And what about going straight?
So it will be shared right and through.
Okay, so it'll be just two lanes coming out then. One will be left and one will be straight or right.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Did you consider, when you did the traffic study, looking at the impact on 159th and Ravinia and specifically adding a deacceleration lane there?
Commissioner Schussler, I want to correct one. As you will exit Ravinia Avenue to LaGrange Road, there will be a separate right turn lane, a separate through lane, and a separate left turn lane. So it will be 3 lanes at the intersection, but before that, it will be 2 lanes.
Okay. Okay, second question. Did you look at 159th and Ravinia with regard to adding a dedicated right turn lane? Not necessarily requiring Costco to do it, but just to for good traffic flow.
Which direction you are referring?
Going eastbound.
Going eastbound. So that roadway right there is an IDOT roadway, which recently they completed that. We will approach them again, but it was not something that was studied as to add, because we have a right-of-way issue there. Because if we do that, and we'll be eliminating basically all of the landscaped area and probably getting into their parking. So it will something we will discuss with IDOT at a later date as this project establishes itself.
Is there any thought about widening 159th between to 6 lanes between Ravinia and 94th Avenue?
Again, those are discussions
with IDOT.
That IDOT.
Have you had those discussions, or is that on the board to think about?
It will be something that we'll bring up to them as we are looking at approaching the intersection of LaGrange Road. That is where the issue is, how far west we can go on that one.
It seems like it's always a struggle to educate IDOT as to what's needed. They always seem to be about 10 years behind the curve.
IDOT has a limitation on construction funding for expansion of roadway capacity.
Okay, thank you. Okay, a couple of questions then for Amazon. There's a document here that we got called Project Narrative, Application for Special Use Responses. That states that the size of the building is 225. The staff report says 228,660. Which one is it? 228,000 or 225,000?
Neither.
So to clarify, it is a 228 number. The project narratives from when we initially filed, and as you can imagine.
That's fine. Stay up there. In the same document, the project narrative, in the first paragraph, it talks about placemaking elements. What are placemaking elements? It says the design allows for potential future integration of placemaking elements. What are placemaking elements?
So those, or that sentence is referring to some of, we saw them in the rendering. So that entry plaza going in. We had some seating areas. We're exploring the possibility of selling prepared foods, for example. You see that a lot of
So you're
in
talking
a
about
lot of
site amenities
retailers.
to make it more.
Yep, seating areas, the
Visually.
pedestrian walkways, we worked really closely with staff on, and then, of course, that corner pedestrian oriented feature.
Okay, in the second paragraph of that document, it mentions dedicated space for third-party delivery drivers. What are third-party delivery drivers and how many are expected in a 24-hour period?
Sure. So when Rory was going through the site plan, I can't remember what color it was, but there's the general parking
Right.
that's for
It's yellow.
coming in. Thank you. The yellow part.
The yellow part, I remember the yellow part.
Those are gig drivers, right?
Yeah, so if you go on, I don't want to name names, but any app, order, we often see those people pushing around carts in a grocery store or a retailer, fulfilling those orders. The idea is those are now going to be fulfilled in the back. Those third-party drivers,
Just like Uber Eats or.
you name your favorite app.
Right.
They would then come here.
Yeah.
It would be packaged up and delivered to their car in the yellow part, as we're calling it.
All right, fourth paragraph of the same document talks about operations between in-store customers, delivery drivers, and larger merchandise vehicles. So will delivery drivers only deliver items purchased in the store, or can other items be purchased online and picked up there?
The intent is that they would be, everything's going to be here. This isn't intended to be an kind of online fulfillment center. It would be you're ordering it, it's being pulled out from the back of house.
You have to
you're
order
picking
something
it up.
that's in the back of the building?
Correct.
Okay, got it. Okay, and about your second or third slide, and I'm not going to ask you to go back to it, but there was a statement about integration with online orders. What did that mean? That was like four things on the slide, and the third one said something about integration with online orders. What are we talking about there?
I think similar to what we were just talking about, you could place an order online through an app or through Amazon, say I'm gonna pick it up at this location, what time, kind of, I think that a lot of retailers are doing that anyway right now. Again, for those types of users, if it's an individual, like I'm on my way home, place the order, we would typically be going to what was light blue, and that covered area. Those would be for individuals that are placing orders online and coming by and
Once
picking
again,
them up.
it's things that are in the back that are going to come out and be delivered
Correct.
to somebody.
You don't have to wait for a next day delivery or 2-day delivery. You just swing by on your way home and pick it up.
Okay. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you.
No, I got one more thing I want to say. With your permission, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
3 minutes. Give me a break.
I know.
This project, with the exception of one very minor modification regarding parking, complies with all of our zoning comprehensive plan requirements. So it'd be very difficult for me as a commissioner to say no to this project when it complies 99% with everything we have in our documents. There's always going to be development that's going to take place in this town until all the vacant property is built up upon. And yes, every time there's development, it brings more traffic, but we can't tell a petitioner, whether it's Amazon or Mary who owns the Pep Boys and lives in town, that they can't build a building that complies with all our requirements because we think that there are too many retail stores, or there are too many restaurants, or there's too many of this or too many of that. I am compelled to agree with this project because it meets the requirements. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Commissioner Zatar. You with us? Yes. Hear you fine, Joe. Hear you fine. That's
I have a couple questions, a lot more answered. I like the idea of the project. It's got a really 4 or 5 year time, it's not a warehouse. But the first stage of that function said 50% of that 200 some thousand square foot building is for storage, and it seems a lot of crap. So my first question is maybe for the village staff. What is the definition of a warehouse or a fulfillment center versus a retail center?
Commissioner Zatar, this is Steve Marciani. For those in the room, since I didn't get introduced earlier. Yeah, sorry. This is Steve Marciani. I'm the Director of Development Services. We kind of have to think about a warehouse as a sole purpose thing, where what is going on there is the goods are going in and out and the sales are not occurring at that location. When we think about the stuff that goes on at any store, there's stuff that's on the floor and there's stuff that's in the back. Now in Costco, for instance, there's stuff on the floor and then there's stuff above the stuff that's on the floor. So that's still what would be the storage capacity for that. So
What is it?
she was asking for someone from Amazon, but you had directed me.
Ma'am, the commissioner directed his question to the staff.
Right, so a warehouse use as a principal use is one that is just doing the warehousing. There's no sale of goods going on at that location. Goods are going in and then they're going out somewhere else, either to go to another location to be transferred or to be sold off-site. In this particular case, the goods that are coming in are goods that are offered at that location, and they can correct me if I'm wrong about this. So that is a retail center, just like any other retail center that has stuff being stored in the back.
And people sell, and some places they sell prepared foods and they prepare them in the back. That doesn't
But this one specifically is deemed unproportionately, unpractically different, right? 100,000 plus square foot building will be not for the public, it will be for third-party drivers. Will be for an fulfillment center for delivery of product. And so, is that portion of the building not justified or not defined as warehouse?
I'm going to ask Katie from Amazon to address that for us.
Sure.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, and just to clarify, so, and I did misspeak and thank the whole team for telling me that, but we are over 50% front of house, so, but it is approximately 100,000 square feet that will be that back of house area. It's not intended to be a fulfillment center. We can talk, I mean, you can look up Amazon fulfillment centers. This is not that site plan. There are no outlots, for example. We would never put outlots. This is not a parking field, and that's why I emphasized when I was talking about what we're asking for, that we're tied to this site plan. There's no bait and switch here. We can't, you know, this is not a fulfillment center or warehouse site plan. The reason why it's so big is that in the back is that we're allowed to, or we are able to carry more SKUs or carry more products in the store if we're not hanging everything up or putting it out for display. We can put out that blue sweater and have 15 more colors in the back in a more efficient way for storage that allows us to fulfill customer needs more readily by storing them in the back. Similarly, we can store all those items that are never going to be picked up by a customer. They're going to be, you know, packaged up and picked up in one of the customer pickup areas or by a third-party driver to deliver it. We see it happening in other retailers. It's just happening in a less desirable way that gets in the way of the in-store customers. So there's many reasons why it's a little bit bigger, but most of it is to prioritize that in-store customer experience and enhance the safety and operation of the site overall, given that it's purpose-built.
And I think it would be fair to say that a warehouse, what they have is for third-party vendors, whereas the storage, whatever you have in the back, is for your consumers that are there. It's not for third-party vendors to come and supply their businesses with.
Correct.
Sure. Right.
Yeah, I think I love the idea of 100,000 square foot on the front end being
Okay, well,
Other than that, that was the only question I had.
thanks so much, Joe. Commissioner Sanchez?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple questions, I guess, for the petitioner and for staff, but maybe I'll start with Kyle, if that's okay. Is this truly the first of its kind for this concept, or are there other locations out there somewhere?
Reminder, Kyle Smith, Amazon. Yes, this is truly the first of its kind. It's a unique concept that is in development. A lot of folks have mentioned seeing the interior of the building. Again, this is one of the first of its kind in development. So there is things that we've worked through with staff quite a bit, and it's been a long haul in order to develop this to this point so far. You know, there is others in works around the country, but as of right now, this is the first in development.
What will it officially be called? Has that been determined yet? Like, will there be a sign of Amazon retail or?
That is still officially in development.
Okay. What about the hours of operation?
So hours of operation, you can kind of standardize it with most common retail. So as of right now, roughly we're looking at 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Okay. And I saw, I think in one of your slides, you said roughly 500 jobs created with this project?
Yeah.
Mostly, you're not going to have like a second shift or anything, or I think I saw
So 500 for the overall kind of operation of the building between all the functions that the building provides. We're looking at about half of them as full-time equivalent.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. For the staff, I guess respectfully, going against Commissioner Schuessler's comment, when I was reading, and correct me if I'm wrong, but when I was reading through the plans, I counted, I think, 6 separate modification requests, which I think it's a little concerning because I think I'm worried about setting that precedent for future projects. But I saw, you know, requests for size, parking, traffic, wetlands, setbacks, and then the future phases. So I know we've kind of approved previous projects with maybe 1 or 2 modification requests, but I think, you know, we have those codes in place for a reason. So I think granting 6 modifications might be a little excessive. It's kind of like saying the project's technically compliant if we make these 6 kind of, you know, accommodations or exceptions. So is that correct, incorrect?
I'll address that. So I believe you're referring to the conditions of approval that staff is recommending. So as far as the modification request, there's only one modification that the petitioner is requesting, and that is regarding the parking lot being located between the building and the street. The conditions of approval that staff's recommending are in regards to a couple of different things. First one being that they just generally meet all code requirements. This is just a general condition that staff recommends for all development petitions. The second one being that if they end up proposing any roof mechanical equipment, those would need to be screened in compliance with the code. The third one, just that they meet the requirements for their plats of consolidation and dedication. The fourth, again, that they would remove the existing, excuse me, PD's 2 building signs. And then the 5 that I already mentioned this throughout the presentation, but that they would pay the cash in lieu of tree planting prior to the issuance of any building permits for the project. So is that what you were referring to, or are there other items that?
Like I know the parking, the size, I think the size was bigger than we're normally accustomed to for retail, I think.
Oh, the parking being larger actually that's not a modification. It can be larger, it just can't be smaller than the minimum that's required by code. So the larger parking spaces is not a modification.
I don't remember it saying that. I remember it saying that we were underneath the required parking spaces. Did I read that incorrectly? Anybody else see that?
Well, no, they have more than the required parking spaces.
Okay, so maybe I read that wrong. so I
Substantially more.
No, no. Mr. Chairman?
8%.
Commissioner Sanchez is correct. So it's an 8% reduction from the original parking criteria.
But don't the staff can...
Gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman.
Let's let Mr. Sanchez finish.
Okay, but thank you, Commissioner Shalvey. I still feel like there's a lot of special uses or modifications that are being requested. You know, I think a lot of my other points have been kind of covered already, but you know, I do still. I mean, overall, I think it's great. I think it's, you know, pretty exciting and definitely I think somebody else said it's a, an honor to be selected by a company like Amazon to do this with. I just, some of the, the other comments about traffic and the overall scale and fit in that location do concern me a little bit. I think we talked about the hours of operation, the delivery being off hours. I mean, I know we're pretty close to, it's part of this is technically in a transition zone, so we're like right next to some residential or future residential. So, some of the delivery being off hours or after hours may impact some of those residents there, which is somewhat concerning. Off peak hours, I think it was called. The traffic study, the IDOT limitations that engineering just recently mentioned, what happens, I guess, question to the staff, what happens if the improvements aren't done or they're delayed when the site becomes operational? So one of my notes was there's IDOT coordination, there's signal installation, there's lane reconfiguration. A lot of that has to be approved and done through IDOT, which sounds like they have some limitations. So what happens if the store does open and none of that's taken place yet?
Gershon?
So this project is not expected to open until, and again, based on what they have told us, sometime fourth quarter of 2027. So we have, I would say, solid 18 months or so, and we have already started quite a bit of coordination with IDOT. But let me take a step back. The construction of Ravinia Avenue is under our control. The traffic signal at Ravinia and LaGrange is IDOT permit. We will be actually spending the money, so it's a matter of getting the permit from IDOT, and we believe, again, we have had conversation. It is not, our conversation is going on, I would say, more like 4 months to 6 months already has passed, so we expect that we will get that. Other improvements, we have time for that, and if it needs to be done, because they're part of a separate project, that they may need to be done as a separate element outside of this project, which may mean that we will be getting those done either in 27 or 28, but not long after. Also, one more thing, this facility is not going to peak on day one. It's going to, maybe first 4 weeks, 6 weeks, it will have a high demand, but then it will stabilize at some level, and that will be the time that we will be making sure that we construct whatever else needs to be constructed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner John Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. A couple of questions and a couple of comments, because I'll start with the questions. Some of this stuff has been answered already. I was concerned about the hours of operation and how the store was set up. Big concern, I think, not just me, but I think from what I've heard tonight and what I've seen on social media over the last few days, it was alluded to, I think, by Commissioner Zatar, is this a warehouse or is this a retail center? So kind of what I came in here tonight was, if this is a retail center, okay. If this is a warehouse, I'm going to be the loudest voice to kill this thing. I think I'm satisfied that this is a retail center. My question is, and this may be to folks at Amazon or to staff, this is your first time doing this. If this doesn't work, I can't see why it wouldn't, but what do I know? If this doesn't work, well, the building's already there. It's already got your name on it. It's already got 10 truck bays or 10 overhead doors. Could this become a warehouse? And what safeguards do we have as a village to keep that from happening?
No, it cannot become a warehouse because zoning does not, the core district does not allow warehouses. So they could not use this as a fulfillment center.
And that was
in the sense that we see the big boxes with hundreds of trucks going in and out.
Okay.
That is not allowed in this zone.
So they can't
It would
just
mean
say,
you'd have to
you
get
know,
a zoning change.
Still working out, let's try this. That's not going to happen.
No.
Legally and every other which way. Okay. A couple of comments. And again, you know, I get where people are coming from. This is a retail community. This location is prime retail location, all right? There's not going to be another Petey's there. You're not going to see a gift shop and a bike store there, okay? This is going to be big. Whatever goes there, we could kill this. We could tell Amazon, go away and never come back, and the village board can do the same thing. But guess what? A couple months later, somebody else is going to be here pretty much offering the same. This is going to be big. This is going to be a big box, big type of retail center, because that's what this area has become. And I get it. Traffic concerns always, retail attracts traffic. Good retail does, and this seems like it will be. Again, I was really impressed with what you folks said. What do you pronounce your name?
Kershit.
Kershit. Will you explain that? How this is well thought out. Extending Ravinia, creating a bypass essentially around what's already a really difficult intersection, not making it that much worse. Look, this is going to happen. We all know IDOT is reactive. The comment was already made, IDOT runs about 5-10 years behind. That's what they do. The stuff we control, Ravinia, we're controlling that. So I mean, I get it, traffic is always going to be a concern, but it's when there's no traffic and there's no buildings that have things going on in them, that's the bigger problem. The concerns were the effect on other businesses. We're not here to pick winners and losers. Okay, that's not the village's role to pick winners and losers here. We would never say to a Burger King, you can't be in that spot because McDonald's is across the street, okay? We've got car dealers next door to each other. We've got all these other businesses that are right on top of one another. That's for you, the customers, to figure out. You guys pick the winners and losers. If you don't want to shop at Amazon, don't shop there. If you don't want to shop at Costco, don't shop there. I mean, if you prefer to deal with mom and pops, if there's still a few of those left, go for it. But that's your decision. That's not our decision. Question comes up, and I didn't hear it tonight, but I did pick up a lot of this on social media. Do we need this? Understand that the village doesn't decide, hey, you know what? We need an Amazon center there, so let's call Amazon, see if they can do that. I'd like to see a bowling alley over there. Let's see if we can get a bowling alley there. That's not the way that works. We, as a village, facilitate businesses. We encourage businesses. We regulate them and we tax them, but we don't create them. People come to us. Amazon came to Orland Park and said, hey, we'd like to do this here. We found a location. I think that's going to work. Let's see if we can make this happen. But we don't, because I saw some other comments, could we put something else there? Well, if there was a better idea, where is it? These folks are sitting right here. I don't see anybody else proposing something else that could go. So, again, I came in here with the outlook that if this is legitimately going to be a retail center, and every indication is that it's going to be. It's going to be big, bigger than what we're used to. Okay. They're paying for it. It's Amazon. I mean, it's not like they don't have the money. But again, you guys have kind of sold me on this, that this is a good idea. I think that, again, not everybody's going to be happy, and I understand that. But know that, look, something's going to be there. And I think this is probably one of the best options. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, John. You mentioned a couple of things. You mentioned, like, what if this doesn't work out, and do we need this? And just a quick comment I have is, I think before they decided to go through this undertaking, for certain, Amazon has probably spent millions of dollars looking for a location, trying to find a location that needs this, or that they think the need's there. They've done their demographic studies. They've done their population studies. They've done their traffic studies. So, I think they have a significant background and a significant investment to have thought, will this work and will it be successful? Because is there a need for it? So that's all but thank you. A lot of great points there, John. Thank you. Commissioner Fenton? No, public comments are over. Commissioner Fenton?
Well, most of my questions were answered today when I called staff, and tonight with the presentations from both staff and from the developer and from my fellow commissioners. One of the comments that did come up was about the Ravinia backup that currently occurs over when people are trying to turn into the Costco parking lot. And Kashid, thank you for making, highly suggesting to Amazon that that's not going to occur, because you are eliminating that when you first turn in, right away there's somebody coming out at you. So you're not going to have that backup on the street, even though you do have a deceleration lane going into it off of LaGrange and off of 159. So super plus. As many people know, I was on the board many years ago, and the fact that I am finally seeing Ravinia Avenue being extended, kudos to you, and hopefully we get the rest of that property through eminent domain. That's something that this village needed many, many, many years ago. That will alleviate a lot of stress for all the traffic flow, both Costco for this project, going over to the shoe store, going wherever you want to travel, because now you have that alternate, road going there. And it was just unfortunate for us that we were never able to get that extension through. And now to see this come to fruition and I'm still alive is wonderful. So thank you on that part. I did have some same concerns about warehouse versus retail, and knowing that it's a stock room. It's really, the back of Target has a large stock room. But when you're shopping in Target, you could get run over by somebody who's got their big red cart filling an order for the lazy person like myself, who might normally just drive up and say, bring me my order, instead of going in the store, where you're saying that you're doing it in the back, which is a nice concept. It also, I think, will make it a more presentable indoor situation. And one of the questions up here was, what's it going to look like inside? I know we can't dictate how you design, other than we can dictate the structure, the safety issues and things like that. Hopefully it won't just be, a bunch of steel beams, and, it'll be comfortable, it'll be appealing. Come shop here and enjoy yourselves. One of my big things always was the facades. The lady from Pep Boys, they did have to jump through a lot of hoops. We do make our developers jump through hoops when it comes to facades. We just don't want, I got in trouble from another town from saying something, but maybe spruce it up just a little. I mean, I know you're doing earth tones with the green, and I know your tenant sign's gonna say Amazon or whatever you're gonna say out there, but I think the more appealing you can make it, it's going to make it more appealing for the residents and people who are coming. When you look at the Costco development now, yes, it's just a white building with blue and their red logo, but they also, when they put their landscaping in, yes, trees start at a certain height and then they grow and they look pretty. But you also have to remember, you have to trim those trees. So you are going to be seeing, later in years, you will be seeing that facade. And if it's a facade that is not appealing from the beginning, later years, it might end up being where it's going to look really pretty. So I think if, I don't know if you need to bring in more colors or work with staff. I mean, they're probably cringing over there, but just, I don't know. Don't want to use the word pretty, but architecturally pleasing, to bring people to it, that it's just not another box. And I think that's what your company wants to do. You want to bring something unique. This is your first one. So if you're going to do that, take the opportunity to also make your facade look extremely appealing, and bring that warm and fuzzy feeling into, hey, we're here to be in your community. We want to be your neighbor, and we want to make it look appealing to you. Come see us. We're not just another box store. I wish you luck. I know I was accused of something, whatever that lady said I did. I'm not on social media, so I don't know what she's talking about. Huh? Oh, yeah, I bullied her. I didn't do that, by the way. So thank you for addressing traffic situation. We're always going to have traffic. I know when LaGrange Road became 6 lanes, people were like, oh my gosh, finally you can move. Well, yes, you still have more traffic even with 6 lanes. And if you want retail, you're going to have traffic. If you don't have retail, you're not going to have your tax dollars coming in. And right now, that property sitting there, as Lucas mentioned, is not generating very much money, but when you come in with yours, it's gonna generate more. I would hope that your 5 outlots are stores or restaurants that we currently don't have in town. That would be one request I would have as a commission member. And I know we can't dictate what goes in there or anything like that, but that's another thing of, you know, if you want to bring that customer and if you want to have that goodwill in the community, try to find out what is this community missing, what would they like to see there, and possibly go out and seek those retailers, you know, or sponsor that boardwalk around Centennial Park. But thank you, and you know, when I read the plans over the weekend, I was impressed. Like I said, I did my homework, got my questions answered. Many questions were answered this evening. Kudos to staff on both sides for their presentations and hard work, and good luck.
Thank you, Kathy. Commissioner Shalaby.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. When you go last, it's really hard. My 27 questions were answered, but I think I do have one last question. I do want to piggyback on the aesthetics. I think it's crucially important, especially down the 159th corridor. I'm looking at the aesthetics here. I'm seeing 2 colors, possibly 3. I think you can really warm that up and make it look significantly nicer, especially when someone's driving down, you know, a couple blocks down 159th Street. My concern is that down the road, we've got 3 outlots, which are adding approximately 200 parking spaces, which will exceed over 1,000 parking spaces collectively, which is great. But I'm still concerned a little bit about traffic flow when we add a bunch of retail into this corridor. I think your projection is in the next 3 to 5 years to fill those outlots, correct? I guess my question first for Amazon. And you're hoping to fill those outlots relatively soon? Right. So, Mr. Hoda, you don't, and you feel that the flow even will support the second phase of the outlots, correct?
I do believe that it will, but similar, just like what we just saw in the last month or so, the November to December timeline, that will be a different scenario, but overall, majority of the year, I expect, and we also hope, and we have some leverage in that regard, that these are uses that have a shared parking concept where one use is peaking versus other is peaking at a different time. So that will complement each other. That would be our preference. But just like you said, we do not control which comes in, but we have some ways to address it, handle it. But I still believe with the number of access points we have in the project, that it will work.
Thank you.
And just to address your question on the microphone, Commissioner, yes, we intend to develop them as soon as we can. Obviously, the main focus will be the main building. And as we develop that, we'll work with staff at later phases in order to make sure all the approvals go accordingly, whether it be us developing them with the new tenants or the tenants themselves.
Well, thank you to the residents for asking wonderful questions and being engaged. As you can see, Amazon, Orland Park is a vibrant community that cares about their community. So we welcome you. I think it's going to be a great addition. So thank you for choosing Orland Park. Staff, thank you for a great presentation.
Thank you, Commissioner Shalaby. Yeah, I also want to, thank staff and our engineering department, and once again, thank you all for being here and expressing your valuable opinions. Most of what any considerations I may have, I think were adequately addressed. Personally, I think it's a great project and a great location. I'm excited that Orland Park was chosen as the initial location for this new concept. Ed, did you want to ask me something?
Yeah, hand me that. The plans that we received indicate that water is going to be furnished by Illinois American Water Company and not the Village of Orland Park. Is that correct? I'm looking at the plan here. I would think so.
What's the question?
Right here. Okay. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I guess is the question, I was just consulting with engineers. I think it's just going to be whoever the water provider would typically be. There's not something unique that we're proposing here as far as water service.
Uh,
It would be the village. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a mistake then.
Okay, we can, we'll make that correction prior, assuming that we move forward to the board, we'll make
Okay,
that
thank
correction.
you.
Appreciate you
I thought it was a
flagging
mistake.
that.
Thank you. Okay, at this point, I would entertain a motion from one of my
Mr. Chairman?
commissioners.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Schussler.
Regarding case number 2025-0560, also known as the Amazon Retail Plan Development, move to approve the staff recommended action as presented in the staff report to this Plan Commission for this case.
I have a motion by Commissioner Schussler, a second by Commissioner Shalaby. I'll poll our commissioners. Commissioner Zatar? Commissioner Zatar? Aye. Aye or nay? Aye. Okay. Commissioner Sanchez?
Yep, we got it.
We got it. Commissioner Sanchez?
There's a lot I love about this project. I recognize the economic value it would bring. I think in the current state, I'm gonna say nay, but I do hope that, I think there's a few things that could be tweaked to improve it, to make it fit better in that space. But I do wish you the best of luck, because I would love to see Amazon here in Orland Park, but like I said, as it's in the plans today, I'm gonna say nay.
Commissioner Paul?
Aye.
Commissioner Schussler?
Aye.
Commissioner Fenton?
Aye.
Commissioner Shalaby?
Aye.
Chairman Parisi? Aye. So obviously the ayes have it, and I want to congratulate you and welcome you to Orland Park. And so now this, the motion is passed. This hearing will move on to the, what's the, not the, yeah, we'll move on to the committee of the whole. Who's asking? Who was it? Oh,
Commissioner Zatar.
Joe, is that you?
Well, before you close the public hearing, I wanted to make a comment, but I don't think you were, I thought you were,
No. Okay.
You know, just as part of the record for this public hearing, I would like to make a comment to staff that we really should look to, you know, make a clear definition of what a warehouse is and what a retail center is, right? I heard Steve's answer, and I wasn't really satisfied. For the record, I would really like to be sure that we can kind of nail it down, you know? I can go to a plumbing supply house on I-80 and buy a pipe, that doesn't mean it's a retail center, it's a warehouse, right? So we
Well,
you know, that
noted, Joe, thank you. Thank you. So this will go to the committee of the whole, after which it'll go to the board trustees. And the next trustee meeting, I think, is next Monday, is it?
Yeah, I think that would be soon, but.
It'll be soon, which, and
January 19th.
Monday, January 19th.
when?
Monday, January 19th.
January 19th, the full board will discuss this, and people are able to attend. So thanks again. I move that we close public hearing. Amazon.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schussler. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. I move that we open public hearing number 2025-0708, certificate of appropriateness for the Old Orland Old Library exterior work, siding, soffit, fascia, and gutters. Do we have a motion?
Joe seconded that.
Oh, okay. Joe, thank you, Joe. We have a second, okay. Is, oh, all in favor, yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Staff? There's no petitioner here, this is our. What?
5-minute break.
Want to take a 5-minute break?
Okay, hey, we'll take a 5-minute break here.
Oh, I'm for that. Yeah. Let everybody clear out.
No, there is a petitioner. I don't know if he's here, but there is one.
Okay. Okay, we'll reconvene. Reconvene. Okay, I move we open public hearing number 2025-0708, certificate of appropriateness for the Old Orland Old Library exterior work.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Staff?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. I'd like to begin by requesting the staff report be entered into the record as written for this case. As we are discussing the Old Orland Library, currently known as 9915, 9917, 143rd Street. The petitioner is here tonight, Rafael Rosales of Rosales Roofing. You see before you the PIN numbers. Currently, the zoning is the Old Orland Historic District, our planning district, downtown, the Old Orland Subdistrict, and in the comprehensive plan, neighborhood mixed use. The petitioner is seeking approval of a certificate of appropriateness for exterior cladding, new windows, and roof edge component replacements at the current address in the Old Orland Historical District. As you can see there's the comprehensive plan as it currently calls. Downtown Orland Park centered around LaGrange and 143rd. 143rd served at the Metro Station. And we talk a little bit about the 4 character districts, each with a distinct identity, but all integrated into a well-connected transportation network. The subject property is within the Old Orland Subdistrict, which includes the Old Orland Historic District, an established neighborhood immediately to the south of the 143rd Street Metro Station, which served as the original part of downtown. And you'll see the star indicating where the property lies within the Old Orland District. There's a zoning map to give you an indication of where the property is. Currently across the street is a funeral home, and you'll see the property is right at the corner of 143rd and the alley to the east and Brook Street to the west. There's an aerial view of the property. Again, the aforementioned funeral home. Just to the east is the Orland Oasis. Current exterior photos, there is the front facade. This is facing northbound. Currently, we are housing the Imperfect Spa at 9915 143rd Street, and 9917 is home to Jean's Construction Company. Exterior photos, at the top you will see that the east elevation, and at the bottom you will see the west elevation. The scope of the project calls for siding and window replacement. The color selections provided by our applicant confirm James Hardy's rich espresso for the new siding, with the fascia soffit, gutters, trim, and the corners finished to match. Additional scope of work photos show again the eastern elevation, where the petitioner plans on removing the stucco and installing the aforementioned Hardy plank to match the rest of the building. You'll see on the bottom where the petitioner indicates that they will reflash the roof membrane at gutter edge and install nailing strips with 1/2-inch plywood for Hardy plank install. Additional scope of work, there's the western elevation at the top. The petitioner who plans on replacing all of the siding with the Hardy color that we had mentioned, the espresso, and they will be adding some windows, which I will show you in the next slide. You'll also see at the bottom left, the awning is going to be replaced with a like for like, and the siding above the windows will also be replaced with the rich espresso color. On the left, you'll see the east elevation. The double hung windows measure 36 by 60. The picture window in that picture is 74 inches by 60 inches. Per our code, section 6-209F3A2, the windows are to be wood or painted metal, and you'll see where the windows have been designed to be implemented into the design by the contractor. Regarding our case number 2025-0708, also known as the Old Orland Library exterior work, staff recommends to accept and make findings of fact as discussed at this Planning Commission meeting and within the staff report dated January 2nd, 2026, and staff recommends the Plan Commission approve a certificate of appropriateness with the condition that, per section 6-209F3A2, windows with wood or metal frames will be used. Regarding case number 2025-0708, also known as Old Orland Library exterior work, I move to approve the staff recommended action as amended during this presentation. That is all. Thank you, and our petitioner is with us tonight.
Yes, I'm sorry I didn't recognize you right away, Mr. Rosales. So you know what conditions the village required in terms of the siding and the windows, and you're all in accord with that?
Yes.
And you have any comments or questions for us?
I do. There's a bit of a mix-up with the color.
Hold on 1 second.
Yes.
Before you go on, let me swear you in.
Sorry.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth as to any testimony you present tonight? If so, please say, "I do."
I do.
Thank you.
All right, so there's a mix-up with the color. We had stated that the owner of the property wanted to do watering can. It's a bit of a light color. The trim originally wanted to be black, but we opted for the rich espresso, which is recommended. So that in the presentation, it was all rich espresso. We want to clarify that we were requesting the trim color be rich espresso and the siding, a watering can. It's a bit of an off-white color. Right, and some communications, I think we did speak, myself or to Michelle, that color was not going to be something that we deemed historically appropriate, the watering can. Because from our understanding, maybe miscommunication that the black color was not the black was not to be allowed for the siding, and then the watering can was not going to be allowed per the historical district. Yeah, so I mean, I'll have to let the owner know. I'm not, we were under the impression that the watering can was okay, just the black trim color. Right. Again, I do want to reiterate in conversations with the office that we had many discussions that the watering can was not a color that would be sufficient in the historical district.
So understanding that, if we approve this, those two requests have not been, those changes have not been approved. Yeah, no, apparently, I mean, we did have it in writing, but if the owner's okay with rich espresso, I mean, that's approved by you guys. Okay, okay. Well, thank
Other
you.
than that, that's the only thing.
Well, thank you for being here. Okay.
I do want to mention that Scott, the owner of the property, has been in contact with us as well, so I did make him aware of that. In addition to that, the owner has been very responsive. He reached out, inquiring as well.
Yes, thank you. Okay, nobody in the public for this particular hearing, so I'll go to our commissioners, and I'll start with Commissioner Shalaby.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing to add. This is very straightforward. I reviewed all the plans. If it meets staff's report, I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Fenton?
I concur with Commissioner Shalaby just said, but in the presentation, it does say watering can as far as the color. So that's, I think, where some of the confusion might be in the paperwork that we received in our packet. That's the color that's in there. So, plus the espresso was also in there too, so. I guess you just have to decide, but it's a cute building. I like it.
Commissioner Schuessler?
I'm not really hung up on the color. I think it's fine.
Okay. Commissioner Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So if we approve this with the colors that you were talking about, Robert, the colors that were approved,
Yes.
you're saying you want a different color. If we approve this, then you guys are going to do it with the color we approved, or else come back.
Right.
Okay. Let's make sure we're out.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Commissioner Zatar?
I have no comment. I'll just add that, it was all a solid company creating
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I have no comments or objections. It's pretty straightforward. So I would entertain a motion.
Chairman.
Mr. Chairman? Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Sanchez?
I just wanted to add that I don't have anything to add either, but I think it looks good.
Didn't I get you?
No.
Commissioner Schuessler?
I'll make the motion if nobody else will. regarding case number 2025-0708, also known as Old Orland Park Public Library exterior work. Move to approve the staff recommended action as presented in the staff report to the Plan Commission for this case.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Schussler, seconded by Commissioner Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, Mr. Rosales, good luck. God bless.
Sorry you had to wait.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. There you go. Okay, I move that we open public hearing, well, that we close non-public hearing, number 2025-0708, and open public hearing, number 2026-0013, Aldi Valvoline subdivision, 1200 to 11320 179th Street.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Paul, in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I don't think there's any petitioner here on that. Is Dan Elliott here? No? Okay. Staff?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Elliott contacted me yesterday and said he was called out of town.
Okay.
And we're currently having some technical difficulties, so if you'll just bear with us one more minute.
Okay.
We've got the motion printed. We don't need it coming up. Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Schussler.
regarding case number 2026-0013, also known as Aldi Valvoline subdivision, move to approve the staff recommended action as presented in the staff report to the Plan Commission for this case.
Second.
Don't worry about your technical problems. We got you.
Well, if you want, I can illustrate this in the theater of the mind, if you will. So, in November, as many of you recall.
Yeah, we just call for a vote.
Yeah, we want to get out of here.
No, we had it seconded. I could have swore, I don't know. No, Ed was mumbling something, so I figured that was the motion. No, but, no, we had a motion, we have a second, and we are.
Yeah, it's a straightforward deal. It's
Straightforward, and so we're unanimous.
Well, let's actually have a vote.
Yeah, let's vote.
Okay, once again, we have a motion by Commissioner Schussler and a second by Commissioner Paul to approve the requested action. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody? Thank you, Joe. Okay. So, I move that we open public hearing number 2026-013, Aldi Valvoline subdivision, 1200 to 11320 179th Street.
We just did that one.
We just.
We need to close it. We need to close it.
Well, that's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
So we have the motion on it, and I move that we
Close it?
close public, we close public hearings.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Move we adjourn.
Thank you. Nothing too earth-shattering on petitions and things, so I move that we adjourn at 10:24 PM.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
I don't think I have anybody declining.